local station.
The Weber State Wildcats need to keep winning to have any shot at the playoffs. Montana State needs to keep winning in order to capture the Big Sky Conference title. Get ready for a cat fight next on Bobcat Game Day. From Bobcat Stadium in Bozeman, this is Bobcat Game Day. This afternoon, two teams with playoff aspirations collide as Weber State pays a visit to the Bobcats of Montana State. Hi again, everyone. I'm Chris Byers along with Mike Callahan. And Mike, you really don't need to sell this football game. All you have to do is look at the Big Sky Conference standings.
That's right. There's 4 teams left that have got a shot at this title. We've got 2 of them here today. Bobcats, if they win out, they're going to win it and get the automatic bid. If it's Weber State, they're going to need a little help, but as you said, they've got to keep winning.
Yeah, 4 teams in the mix, Mike, as we come down to the final couple of weeks of the regular season. Now to look at this game. Weber State comes in on a roll. They won 3 straight, got the big win over the Montana Grizzlies last week down in Ogden, and they're led by their senior quarterback, Cam Higgins.
Yeah, if you follow the Big Sky Conference, Cam Higgins doesn't really need much of an introduction. The 4-year starter for Weber State has been off the charts in his career passing numbers, but his role has changed a little bit now. The last few weeks, Weber has really committed to running the football. So don't expect to see him throw it all over the field like we've seen in the past, but when he gets his shots, he'll be ready.
Well, that running game has paid off in some big wins for Weber State, keeping them in the Big Sky title chase. For Montana State, well, we all know who's the trigger man in this Bobcat offense, the redshirt freshman, a sensational season to date, Denarius McGee.
Denarius McGee has been nothing short of spectacular for the Bobcats this fall, and comes into today's game probably as hot as ever with 2 big passing games, over 400 yards the last 2 weeks. But the most impressive thing about this young kid is his leadership and his poise. So it'll be a fun afternoon seeing the old vet from Weber State face off with the new kid from Montana State.
Yeah, all the makings, Mike, of a terrific football game. Now, for the keys to this afternoon's game, let's go down on the field and join the unflappable A.J. Donatoni. Hi, A.J.
Thank you very much, Chris. Hello to you and Mike as well. Our final broadcast of the regular season, and the weather is still good, and we're in the 60s. The sun is peeking out. Just can't ask for anything better between Weber State and Montana State today. A huge game. We'll start with our keys to the game with the Weber State Wildcats, and right away, quick strike. Montana State's defense has been exposed in the last few weeks to giving up a big play here and there. We saw it against Idaho State, Northern Arizona, Northern Colorado. The Wildcats should look to make a quick strike early. Secondly, takeaways should be huge. Weber State is actually last in the Big Sky in takeaways this season, but Montana State turned the ball over 4 times last week against Idaho State, and it almost cost them. Ultimately, Weber State has to make sure that they get a couple in this game, and then finally let it ride if you're the Wildcats, because the momentum is such a big factor with this time of year, and Weber State is coming in as hot as any team in the conference, fresh off that win against Montana. If they can ride that momentum, they should look good and put up a good fight against Montana State today. As for the Cats and their keys, number 1 is front 7 part 2. Last week, that was all that Coach Ash wanted to talk about after the game, was how great his front 7 on that defense was. He went as far to say is the defense is back for the Montana State Bobcats, and the front 7 will have to do a good job against a 3-man rushing attack led by Bo Bolin of Weber State. Secondly, home field advantage. Sometimes it's a myth. This year, though, it's been the saving grace for Montana State. They have not lost a game yet at Bobcat Stadium. If they win today, they complete that perfect home regular season, and that leads to the third key, which is eyes on the prize, because if they do get the win today, Coach Ash was quoted as saying that 8 wins is the magic number to get into the playoffs. At least that's what he thinks, and a win today would complete the perfect home season and get Montana State over the hump. So those are your keys to this very important game with plenty of playoff implications between Weber State and the Montana State Bobcats. When we come back, we will have the opening kickoff on Bobcat Game Day.
Here in Bozeman. And Mike, I'll tell you, as far as meaningful games go, and we're down to the final couple of games of the regular season, doesn't get much better than this.
No, it really doesn't. We keep talking about it, teams that feel like they've got their back against the wall. Weber State is definitely one of those teams. MSU on the other side of it, hey, they know they got to get a win today if they want to stay alive in this conference race. So yeah, both teams, the two teams, as we mentioned, in the top 4 that are active today are right here in front of us.
Montana State leads the series here in Bozeman, looking for win number 14 against the Wildcats. Montana State will receive to start the game. A beautiful afternoon in the Gallatin Valley for football. As we get set to go here, Weber State will kick, Montana State to receive. And this one is underway. Kick comes down to Davis inside the 10. Davis up over the 15 to the 20, got some running room to the 25. Montana State with good field position to start the game. Two teams that can put plenty of points on the board. Let's take a look at the Montana State offense, brought to you by Montana Lottery's Fantasy Sports Camps. Winners happen. Sean Sampson at center, Terry and Davis, Dennehy and Mike Person up front. The receivers, Julius Lloyd, Akpa Everett Gilbert, Kyle Beggar the tight end, Lorenzo Davis gets the start at running back, and of course at quarterback again, the freshman Denarius McGee. See the numbers on McGee for the season. And boy, he has put up a bunch. So first down for Montana State. They'll stay on the ground the first play of the game. Davis tries to get to the outside up over the 30 to the 31. As we look at the Weber State defense, they'll be challenged this afternoon. So up front for Weber State, it's White, Pletcher, Sam Finn, and Gabe Bowers, a good front line, and then Taylor Cedillo in the middle for those linebackers, along with Nick Webb, James Keller Brown, and Farron Creighton, the defensive backs. Gain of 5 on the play, second and 5, opening series for Montana State. This time they'll line up out of the eye. And now flags come in. Looks like it'll be a false start on Montana State.
Yeah, it looked like our right tackle, Leo Davis, got off a little early that time.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That'll bring up second and 10. Tom Frazier, the referee today, Roger Stewart, the umpire, and Glenn Hepner is the head linesman. So the ball back on the 26, second and 11 for Montana State on this opening drive. McGee out of the gun, looks left, finds a man, and complete close to the 35. That's Julius Lloyd. And the short out will pick up. Good gain on the play.
High percentage pass there after the penalty to go back and try and get some of that yardage back. Got a little bit more than the 5 they lost to bring up the short, maybe a short 4, Chris.
Lloyd with 26 receptions coming into today's game. Gain of 7 brings up 3rd and 4 from the 33. 3 receivers set. Now they'll motion Gilbert. McGee rolls that way, throws. Gilbert wide open at the 40 to the 45 and a first down for Montana State. Well-designed play as they ran Gilbert across the field, and the short pass and completion leads to a first down.
Yeah, you can see that whole front from Montana State. They roll out the whole pocket. Gilbert is wide open, plenty of room there to pick up the first down. So important for Montana State to pick up some of these first downs, keep that Weber State offense off the field. A lot of talk this week about how they want to grind it out. Held the ball for over 12 minutes against Montana last week in the 4th quarter, so keeping them on the sideline is very important.
Here's McGee out of the gun, looks across the middle, now fires, has a man at the 45, that's caught. And now the ball on the ground. And it is Weber State ball. Elvis Akpla with the catch at the 40-yard line. Coughed it up, and Weber State has the first turnover of the game.
Well, this is huge. Another time the receiver is wide open over the middle. You see Elvis bobbles a little bit, then puts it away. And we can't really tell from that angle. It looked like it squirted out actually when he came down. That might be a tough call if you're MSU, but nonetheless, the big first turnover is going to go to Weber State.
So the first big break of the game goes to the Wildcats. They'll have it at the 40-yard line. Out of the eye, Cameron Higgins up under center and a first down. And they'll stay on the ground, and some good running room up to midfield and then some. Still on his feet, now finally wrapped up at the 15-yard line. all the way down to inside the 20 as Bo Bolin looked like he might have got out of bounds near midfield but stayed in and came up with a big play.
I think he just did a great job here. You see, it's that power eye. They bring it at you and lead that back, and he just does a nice tightrope all the way down the sideline here to stay in bounds.
From the 14, first down. This time Higgins operates out of the gun, got a 3-receiver set to the left. They stay on the ground. Bolin wrapped up at the 14, falls forward, picks up maybe 2 on the play as we take a look at the Weber State offense. Tyson Tia the center, redshirt freshman, pulled him out of that redshirt year. He gets the start. They have 2 freshmen on the front line. Phillips, Collins, Jankowski is the tight end. Eldridge the fullback, and Bo Bolin gets the start at tailback, and of course at quarterback is the senior, one of the top quarterbacks in the Big Sky, Cameron Higgins. Gain of 2 on the play, 2nd and 8. They stay on the ground, not much there, falling forward inside the 10-yard line. As we take a look at the Montana State defense, Ledette, D'Alba, Zach Minner, and Dan Ogden up front. Linebackers, Alexi Groslock in the middle again today, along with Owens and Roger Trammell. And in the backfield, Darius Jones, Arnold Briggs are the corners. Jordan Craney and Michael Ryder are the safeties. So a 3rd and 6 for Weber State. Ball at the 10-yard line. Crowd on their feet. First big play of this game. Now Higgins. And the crowd forces Higgins to take a timeout. Wasn't sure what to do.
Timeout. Weber State, their first timeout.
So Weber State with a golden opportunity, Mike, to strike first in this game. After the fumble by Albus Akpla, they take it down to the 10-yard line, sets up a 3rd and 6. Let's take one more look at that first turnover of the game for Montana State.
Yeah, you can see Akpla just catches his ball over the middle of the field. He's wide open. He juggles it initially. It looks like he tucks it away here, and then you see him turn it upfield, and yes, it did come out before he was down. That was a good call by this officiating crew, and boy, another sudden change situation. The red alert type thing for the MSU defense. 4 of them last week at ISU. Ball security so important in a game like this today, where you've got a couple of grinded out offenses that like to hold the football. So to get that extra possession is really huge.
Bobcats bit by the turnover bug last week and already have one today. So big play for Weber State as they look to stay in contention for the Big Sky title. 3 straight wins for Cameron Higgins and the Wildcats, and a chance to strike first here. Higgins now steps back. He'll go out of the gun. 3 receivers set to the left. Phillips split wide right. Higgins keeps the ball. Jumps over one tackler, gets whacked at the 5-yard line. And that's going to be very close to a first down. Yard short.
Yeah, it looks like you see he gives the ball fake here. Owens is there, misses him, and then, boy, a little bit of cleanup by the 2 safeties, Craney and Ryder, to keep him just short of that first down yardage, and it looks like Weber State is gonna go.
4th and 1 from the 5-yard line. And the Wildcats line up as if they'll go. They line up out of the power I. Higgins up under center. Vangamali's hit at the 5, and he falls forward, but he's going to be stopped short.
He is, boy, a great stop for MSU that time. Reminds me of the last thing we saw out of these 2 teams when they played a year ago. But here you see 2 fullbacks in. Then it's the big guy, Tafuna, which is practically a fullback, comes in it, but just nothing doing in the middle of that defensive front for Montana State. Talked about needing some big plays out of the front 7. None bigger than that so far today.
So Vi Tafuna stopped short, and Montana State takes over on downs. What a huge defensive stand for Montana State. Mike, both of these teams come in averaging over 400 yards a game in total offense. Both defenses do give up points, but that was a big stop there for Montana State. So Denarius McGee You see the numbers on the season. They'll stay on the ground. Not much there. Good second effort.
Just a straight inside run that time, Chris, to Davis, trying to get a little bit of room down there on the goal line so you can open up a little bit more of your offense. But, you know, we pick up, looks like 3, almost 4 that time, so not bad down there.
So Davis stretches for 4, 2nd and 6 from the 10. Bobcats trying to dig themselves out of a hole here. McGee operates out of the gun on 2nd down. Pulls it back, rolls right, now looks, has some running room, straight up the middle, and McGee with a first down up to the 20-yard line. Nice job by the freshman quarterback. Look downfield, everyone covered.
This guy is so poised, particularly down here. Just sits, there's nothing there, recognizes it, gets it up the field, and then tucks that ball away and gets down. They can't afford another turnover. He's had a little trouble with the fumble bug himself the last couple of weeks, so a good job there of securing the football and getting down after the first.
Nearly 300 yards rushing this year for McGee and a couple of touchdowns. From the 19, McGee up under center. They stay on the ground. Davis tries to get to the outside. Flag comes down in the backfield at the 15.
Yeah, in the area where you expect to see a holding call when that ball comes from the
Holding, number 50 offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
Yeah, that time they're going to tag it against number 50, the right tackle, Leo Davis. His second penalty of the first quarter here. Not off to a great start, but see if we can pick it up. Yeah, that's a pretty good tackle there by Leo. You can see, and it, you know, was really a thing that only freed up Davis to get to the outside. So another good call.
Well, that'll back the Bobcats up to the 10-yard line. 1st and 20. 9 minutes to go, opening quarter, no score from Bozeman. Here's McGee. Looks right, throws, fires, and this one is almost intercepted. A big hit out there at the 25-yard line.
That was Jordan Brown making the hit. Their big stud at the safety position. This looks like, let's see it here, but yeah, he tries to squeeze this one in between the over coverage and the underneath coverage. Pretty tough throw there, and boy, a nice hit by Brown. Had a huge game last week against Montana where he was the Big Sky Conference Player of the Week on defense.
Incomplete pass brings up 2nd and 20. This time they'll stay on the ground and some running room up over the 15 to the 20. Good job that time by the offensive line opening the hole up, and good positive yardage on the play by C.J. Palmer.
Watch the cut that C.J. makes here. He's reading this thing. Boy, when he sees that hole, plants that left foot, gets upfield. Exactly what they needed down on this part of the field.
All right, so gain of 10 brings up 3rd and 10 from the 20-yard line. Now McGee looks over to the side. He'll get the play. They do a lot of this in this offense.
Yeah, we'll see Weber do the same thing, and it was very effective for him last week where they changed a lot of plays very late in the count.
Now McGee looks left, throws right. Has a man out there, and is that a catch? Yeah, at midfield. Oh, man, what a play.
That is a catch, Chris. That was an amazing catch. That was C-wing on that one. This thing is thrown deep. It looks like it's going to be too deep, but watch him reach out with that right hand and pop this thing in. Boy, that is beautiful. Juggle, and pulls it in, rolls over on his back. Boy, that is a beautiful catch.
Young man out of Saco, and how about that?
Another big city kid making a big play for MSU, huh, Chris?
Yeah, now we got a ball on the ground and a fumble. It's going to be a false start against Montana State.
Well, Montana State not doing themselves any favors here early with the penalty situation, but
I guess they ruled it a fumble. So yeah, 2nd down, loss of 2, 2nd and 12 at the 45-yard line. Shane Robinson, now the tight end, comes in motion. He's the lead blocker. Davis gets to the outside. Cuts inside to the 45, up over the 50, still on his feet to the 45 and down close to the 40-yard line. Great second effort by Arenzo Davis.
That play is all Davis, because the defensive end, Finn, out here just blows this thing up. Davis just beats him to the corner, cuts it back to the inside, and picks up some really well-earned yards.
Well, they kept stretching the play, Mike, and there was nowhere to go, but somehow he managed to cut back inside and get enough for the first down.
Well, that time out, Mo Neal looked like he had that thing blown up. Number 16, the outside backer there, but just great effort by Davis to keep the chains moving for Montana State.
Timeout, Montana State, their first timeout.
All right, so Montana State will use a timeout. 6:37 to go, opening quarter in Bozeman. No score between the Bobcats and Weber State. Montana State with a first down at the 42-yard line of Weber State. The numbers so far, Montana State almost doubling up the Wildcats in total offense. Second possession of the game for the Cats, still no score. Here's McGee. Looks out to his left now, throws, and that is caught and dropped inside the 40-yard line. That was intended for Sloan. He had it for a moment, couldn't hang on to it.
Yeah, pretty well covered on that play. Number 45 linebacker Nick Webb was right out there with him. Weber's gone to their nickel package pretty early here. Just the two backers now, brought in the extra DB to try and slow down this Bobcat offense.
First, we've seen a Kerry Sloan at running back.
Yeah, I heard that there was going to be some action for him this week. His parents are in town and show off the young boy.
And Sloan gets the call, and he is met right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe gets two on the play.
Trevor Pletcher is right there to make this stop. Just a good job of squaring up on this tackle, getting off his block. Short gain for Sloan.
So 3rd and 7 now for Montana State from the 39.
Well, this is a great matchup with these two teams. MSU, the best on third down offense in the conference, and WSU second best from the defensive side. So third down will be a great battle all day.
All right, here's McGee, pulls it down, has some running room, tucks it inside, has a first down and more. McGee still on his feet, down close to the 25-yard line, and Denarius McGee doing what he does best, a little improvising, and picks up the first down.
He's picking up right where he left off with the last touchdown to win the game at ISU last week. Just when it breaks down in front of him, this kid can run, makes good decisions on the cuts there, and what I really like is two hands on the ball at the end of that run.
So McGee and Montana State with another first down to the 26, inside 5.5 to go in this opening quarter. This time they'll operate out of the eye. They got the big tight end in there. That's Kyle Beggar. The give is to Davis. Davis dances to the outside, gets to the corner, still on his feet, and makes something out of nothing. They give him 3 on the play, 2nd and 7.
Well, Davis has been very impressive, much like Denarius McGee, in making something happen when the play breaks down. This time, maybe a yard, not quite 2 for sure, but that thing looked like it could have been a big loser, as those Weber State backers did a great job of plugging those run holes in the middle of the field.
Marvin Walker checks in for Weber State, an extra defensive back, 2nd and 8. Ball at the 24-yard line. Fast-moving first quarter. Both teams establishing the run game here. Here's McGee. Looking, now throws it up and away. Nobody there in the general direction of Tanner Bleskin, but that time, good job by Denarius. Didn't see anything there, just chucked it away.
Again, you talk about the decision making for this guy. Just a redshirt freshman, but that's one of the things, the toughest lesson for a quarterback to learn is to throw that ball away. And particularly when you're a guy like Denarius McGee, who has the ability to make plays at the end of those things. That time decides not to improvise and just gets rid of the ball out of bounds.
So 3rd and 8 from the 24, and yet another third down. 5 receivers set from Montana State. They got everybody in the pattern. Here's McGee, gonna throw it to the back of the end zone, and almost caught back there. Would have been a sensational catch. But as it stands, an incomplete pass intended for Julius Lloyd. And out comes Jason Cunningham, who has had, boy, talk about great years. Cunningham 18 to 21 on the season, 85%. He's got a long of 55. This will be from 40 yards out.
Yeah, Cunningham has been great. Had the couple misses last week that, of course, he bounced back from. But, you know, he's got to feel a bit better. He didn't like that turf down there. Now he's back at home where he has been excellent.
Okay, ball down, kick on the way, got plenty of distance. And this one is no good. Sails wide right. So 4:41 to go, first quarter. Still no score. We'll be back after these words from your local stations. Sunny.
Again, it's been a beautiful season. Every home game here has been absolutely fantastic.
Not had a drop of snow this fall.
Never snows in Montana. All you recruits out there, come on up.
That's well done. Here's Bolin trying to get to the corner. He's met at the line, gets maybe one on the play. Good job by Montana State, shut down the run.
Well, this running game for Weber State has been on fire the last couple weeks, but as you can see, against the run, you've got to bring a lot of bodies, and it's Michael Ryder who gets there first, trips him up, but watch everybody show up. That's just a good defensive effort.
Wound up getting 3 on the play, so 2nd and 7. Higgins out of the gun with the pitch. And Bolin strung out and wrapped up and taken down at the 25-yard line. A loss on the play. Boy, what a great job to string that play out, and then to mop things up is Michael Ryder.
Well, we talked about the team effort on the last play. Look at this, just sprinting, fills it up. Ryder inside, Briggs has got the outside. That is, again, great team defense, and that's what you need if you're going to stop this, what is it, just been a fantastic rushing attack for Weber State.
Well, this is where Briggs is so key to that Montana State defense, his veteran presence out there at the corner. Now a little quick draw inside, that's going nowhere.
Yeah.
Let's go down on the field and join A.J. Donatoni.
Guys, right there, you see the Montana State defense stepping up. Like I said at the top of the show, Coach Rob Ash had nothing but praise for the defense after last week's game against Idaho State, particularly that front seven that held Idaho State to just 189 total yards on the day. He expected the Cats to come out today with a similar defensive performance, and so far, one drive they were put in a tough spot, but a huge goal line stand, and then right there a 3 and out. So great start for the Cats defense early on, just as Coach Ash expected.
Deshaun Thomas signals for and makes the fair catch at the 29-yard line. When we come back, Montana State with the football in a scoreless game. And back in Bozeman with 3:11 to go in the first quarter. Denarius McGee, 84 yards on his own today, and they stay on the ground. Now McGee pulls it down. Now tries to get outside, throws, catches made just over the 30. That's Everett Gilbert, leading receiver for this Montana State team. Gilbert comes in with 39 catches, couple of touchdowns, and he is a dangerous wide receiver.
He is dangerous, and you know what? And he's showing himself to be consistent too. I think this is his 21st game for Montana State. He's had multiple catches in every game since he's been here,
right,
Chris.
And he's been durable too. So the catch is up to the 32, gain of 3, 2nd and 7, to stay on the ground. Boy, and for two teams that give up a lot of offense, both defenses have been pretty stingy. And in particular, Mike, when you look at time of possession, which really killed Montana last week down in Ogden, where Weber was able to control clock, today Montana State's been able to keep the ball on their side on offense.
So far chewing up a lot of clock, haven't been able to turn it into any points yet, but you know that Weber State defense has struggled. They're 7th in the conference against the rush, but they've made some nice stops early on in this first quarter.
Well, this Weber State defense is up against a lot right now. The Bobcats #1 in scoring, #1 in passing, and #1 in total offense in the Big Sky. Here's Denarius, now fires at the 40. That's caught and dropped by Deshaun Thomas. So Thomas had a chance to bring it in and get a first down, but the ball may be thrown just a little bit.
Yeah, that one just wasn't quite there. Wasn't quite they're talking. You see them talking after the play. Probably not exactly sure where they were going to be on the routes. Usually, you know, when we see McGee have time like that, he delivers the ball on target. But that time it's going to be 3 and out, and Montana State will punt it back to Weber.
So we see Rory Perez for the first time today. Perez standing inside his 20-yard line. And Perez gets this one off, short kick, signal for fair catch made. at the 34-yard line.
Well, we see the two teams change 3 and outs and have a little punting battle. It looks like with the exchange, Weber's going to pick up about 8 or 9 yards and get it back to their offensive unit.
We talked about the importance of this game for both teams. As you mentioned, Mike, in the pregame, a win by Montana State clearly positions them for a spot in the postseason playoffs. And Weber State, they've come out of nowhere. They've won 3 straight games. They're now 4-2 in conference, and they have their eyes on a playoff berth as well with a couple of wins to close the season.
Yeah, they certainly do. They feel like they're playing well enough to get that done. And, you know, they've got a little bit tougher finish than MSU does, having just a couple of conference games left with this one. And then I think they go down to
Northern
NAU,
Arizona,
which is no easy task either. But boy, as you look at the numbers, you know, pretty evenly dispersed in a lot of ways. But I think the numbers battle goes to MSU, but really the number that is going to be important today is the turnover battle.
All right, Higgins fires and completes the pass. That's close to first down yardage, and I think they got it. Pass is complete to Brian Jankowski, the tight end.
Boy, that's unusual. Weber State does not utilize their tight ends very much in the passing game. I believe only his 6th pass on the season, but an important one there because it was enough to pick up the first down.
And they'll stay on the ground. Josh Booker gets the call, and Booker wrapped up and taken down. Boy, not a whole lot there, and at the bottom of that pile is Mike Ryder, the senior safety out of Billings West High School.
Mike Ryder along with number 42 Bignell right in the middle of this. So far, MSU is doing a really good job against this rush offense for Weber State that just went crazy last week against Montana and the week before against Portland State.
That's a Montana high school sandwich right there on that kid, huh? Oh, shooting the gap. Hello.
Jody Owens, he's going to bring a little Texas to that Montana meal you got going, Chris, because he comes flying up on this to make the play.
Jody remind you of one of those linebackers that just kind of throws caution to the wind sometimes.
Well, I'll tell you what I love about him was when he sees his read, he completely commits to it and goes. There's no hesitation.
Owens just shoots the gap.
You can see, watch him here as he moves upfield. There's no hesitation when he gets his read. He sees it and bam, he is gone inside. Great job by Owens.
You know, one of the interesting things that Weber State, of course, has a very talented quarterback in Cameron Higgins, known for their passing attack, and he's put up some big numbers. But midway through the year, with all the interceptions they've thrown, they changed their offense. They went from a predominantly passing team to basically a running team, and it's translated into wins.
Well, AJ talked about it. They are -11 still in turnover ratio. It was much worse early on until they buttoned it down. You know, we're told that they tried to they were going to simplify their offense. They were going to take away a lot of the passing reads and give themselves an opportunity to control the football, and that is what they've done.
End of one in Bozeman, no score. Third and 8 from the 47-yard line. Opening play, second quarter, crowd on their feet. And they stay on the ground. And a first down for Weber State as Bo Bolin. Now, looks like he coughed it up near the 40-yard line, and a player down for Weber State. One of the big offensive linemen.
Blow this thing up, get a nice hole in the middle. Bowen hits it up in there hard, but I think it was the 72, Caleb Turner, that was hurt at the end of that one and is still down on the field after trying to make it to the sideline. He's their left tackle.
Well, and they are in bad shape on that offensive line to begin with, Mike, as they start 2 true freshmen. Pulled one out of his redshirt year. Yeah, but I tell you, their ability to run the football is testament to how fast those guys have been able to grab the system. And you mentioned Mike, before the game, how well you thought their run blocking schemes were.
I just have been very impressed in watching a little bit of their tape, particularly at Montana. They just get great angles. You see a lot of down blocks where they will absolutely just pin the two inside defenders and then clean it up on the outside by pulling the guard across and then utilizing, boy, they've had some big fullbacks. We didn't see last week their fullback who was making those big blocks against Montana was Zach Eldridge. He is not in the game today to this point, and we have seen more of Derek Cosper.
So first down from the 41. It just shows you how much this team has changed the way it attacks offensively. 3rd and long, they stay on the ground and got a first down, and they'll stay on the ground again. And this time, nothing doing there. Good job by Montana State. I believe that was Owens again.
Owens and Bignell, and that's the key in stopping this run is that they've got those big bodies up front, and they are huge, so you've got to count on your linebackers to get up and fill these gaps. Here you see two of MSU backer doing exactly that. Owens and Bignell there to clean that thing up.
Tafuna in the backfield now for Weber State. Bolin already was 63 yards rushing. Gain of 1 on the play, 2nd and 9. Tafuna with the ball. Slams up over right guard there, and another short gain. And that'll bring up 3rd and 6.
Boy, Tafuna had the huge day last week. This is a 6'1", 245-pound senior that just brings it at you. I watched a couple of his games on tape, and I'm still yet to see him make a cut, Chris. He just is on his line, and he is going full speed till you bring him down.
3rd and 5 from the 36. Weber State tries to keep the drive alive here early in the 2nd quarter. Here's Higgins, straight drop. Now gets flushed and brought down. Flag comes in late, but a huge loss on the play.
Ogden, Gale, both there, and I'll tell you what, I think this is going to be in the area of holding. We'll see here. But this is only the 5th.
Holding, number 73 offense.
As we get the call, they are going to decline that. But Chris, that is only, watch the pressure that comes up the middle here. And remember that prior to this play, they have only allowed 4 sacks on the entire season. They are the best in the nation at protecting the passer. So a big, big sack that time by the MSU defense on 3rd down to force the punt.
Kia Makia back to punt from his 40-yard line after the sack by Ogden. A beautiful kick, and this one is going to come down and sail into the back of the end zone. Montana State, when we return, we'll have the football in a scoreless game from the 20. Back in Bozeman, 12:59 to go here in the 2nd quarter. No score between Weber and Montana State. Cats have the ball. McGee lines up under center. And McGee this time throws, completes short pass. That goes for absolutely no gain. Kyle Beggar taken right down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, great play that time by number 45. This is the mainstay of this Cat. They do the ball fake away. They drag the tight end underneath. It is 9 times out of 10. This is wide open, but you always wonder as a linebacker just how many teams are going to not cover Beggar because he's been so effective, but particularly the last 2 weeks has seen a lot of open field. But that time, number 45, the leader of that defense, was not fooled.
Nick Webb in on the stuff. Yep, 2nd down and 10, no gain from the 20. How do you figure this, Mike? 2 teams, top 2 offenses in the Big Sky, both over 400 a game, and we got no score.
Well, I think it's what just goes to show you that these games are going to surprise you, Chris, because these are 2 defenses that, in all honesty, have really struggled this season, have not been very good, and have allowed a lot of numbers. But, boy, look at the big hole there. Sean Sampson leads that thing up. CJ gets it down around his feet, or he is gone.
So Palmer with a 12-yard gain and a first down for Montana State. There's the numbers on CJ. The big one, 5 touchdowns.
Well, CJ has done a great job this year, I think, in his limited carries. Not seeing that big number that he has a lot, and he saw a lot more early on. But, boy, he's come into the game and repeatedly given that MSU offense a spark.
Here's McGee, throws out there and complete to Akpla. And Akpla up to the 38-yard line. So a gain of 6 will be 3rd and 4. And Elvis, among that group of talented receivers for the Bobcats, he comes in with 28 catches on the year.
Just a nice play to pick up that segment. You know, really, you talk about MSU's success on 3rd down. A lot of it comes on 1st down, where they're able to get that 5 and 6 yards and give themselves real manageable short 3rd down situations. Here you've got a 2nd and 5, which really is your playbook is wide open.
Palmer up inside, slams up over the 40. Good gain by CJ. He'll be a yard short. Going to bring up 3rd down.
There's a nice hole initially here, and you can see, I think, I'm not sure who the players, but look, it's like it's the Sagapatoli White that just gets a little bit of jersey and is strong enough to drag him down.
Yeah, we'll call it 3rd and a short 2. You see 3rd down conversions on the day. Montana State effective 3 out of 5. Weber just 1 of 4. 3 receivers set. Now they'll put Palmer in motion, empty backfield on 3rd and 2. Might get a quarterback draw. Well, McGee's just going to keep it. Trips and falls. He's going to be, it looks like he's going to be marked just short of the 1st down.
Yeah, they are going to mark that short. It's going to bring 4th down. This is an area on the field where oftentimes you'll see an offense be aggressive and go for it. Coach Ash many times in this season has done that. This time it looks like they're going to bring the punting unit. Well,
the crowd doesn't like it, but I think it's the right call, because in a scoreless game, it's strictly a battle of field position right now. Both defenses are playing good, and you certainly don't want to give the football back to Weber State in Montana State territory.
No, I agree, Chris. I'd punt this one away. You've got Perez has done a nice job this season. MSU first in the conference in net punting.
And a timeout taken by Weber State.
Their 2nd timeout.
Comes with 9:32 to go in the 2nd quarter. We'll be back after these words from your local stations. You're watching Bobcat Game Day.
Local businesses, large and small.
Rory Perez stands inside his 30-yard line to punt it away. Jordan Brown back to receive. And Perez gets away a beauty. Drives Brown back inside the 20. He's got some running room. Here's Brown to the 30. Brown still on his feet to the 35. Seawing takes him out of bounds, but not before Brown gets all the way to the 36-yard line in great field position for Weber State.
Boy, it's almost shocking. It's been so long since we've seen a guy actually get a punt return against Perez and those high hangers that his. But this time Brown shows you why he is one of the best in the conference. Punt return, he just tucks this thing up, gets it to the outside, and as you said, nice field position for Weber State to start this drive.
First down for Weber State. They'll stay on the ground, and Booker met at the line of scrimmage, wrapped up, taken down, simply nothing there. And that's Alexi Groselak, the freshman out of Billings Central. Nice play by Alexi. Stop for no gain.
Yeah, so far a big day for these MSU backers. Watch him come up and just meet Bo Bowen, who's a very hard runner, but he comes around, gets from the outside, gets help inside by Ledette. But watch, really credit his partner there, Clay Bignell, who had to take on that lead block, shut that thing down. That first backer that takes on that lead, he's got to stuff that hole, Chris, and then you hope that a lot of help comes from the outside.
Gain of 1, 2nd and 9 from the 37. Here's Higgins. Rolls left. Now just throws it away. And again, Bobcats want intentional grounding.
I think Weber State was trying to run a little outside screen that time and get the ball to their 3rd tailback, number 24, Booker. But there was nothing there. Well read defensively, so he just threw it at his feet.
A far different Montana State defense last week and this week than what we saw the previous 3 games.
Well, yeah, when people want to say, geez, well, they played well last week, but it was ISU. But yeah, maybe so. That was some of it. But they kind of had their swagger back, Chris. They looked like they were having fun again. Guys were out making plays. It just looked like the group that we saw at the beginning of the season.
And here's Higgins on a completion. And this is going to go for big yardage and a first down inside Montana State territory as Joe Collins hauls it in. And that was nicely designed play.
It was, and you know, we talked about Higgins. He can throw the football. Collins does a good job of coming across the middle, getting open, gets this thing over, and a big third down pickup for Weber State. You just can't expect Higgins not to get some balls up the field. It's just, we've seen it for 4 years. That's what he's so good at.
He'll stay on the ground. And Bolin will take it inside the 35 to the 32. Gain of 3 on the play. Well, you remember last year in Ogden, Montana State won that thrilling game, stopping Weber State at the goal line, 4th and goal to hang on to the win. Weber was ranked 11th in the country, I believe, at that time. But Higgins threw 3 interceptions in that game, and that's been the big problem for them this year. 11 picks coming in, and so they've kept the ball on the ground as Bolin again. And they made we were talking to some of the folks that came with Weber State today before the game, and they were saying they've simplified the offense so that he doesn't have to make the hot reads anymore. He just stands back in the pocket, throws to where he's told to throw, and they've been much more effective.
And they have. They've been much more efficient. And as you said, the key is they haven't turned the ball over like they had earlier in the conference schedule.
So another third down play, 3rd and 4 from the 29. 7 minutes to go, second quarter, still no score. Bolin in the backfield. Higgins now calls for the ball. And the quick handoff to Bolin, and by the spot, I think he's going to be about a half a yard short, and this is going to be another dicey 4th down call, and they're just not going to waste any time now. The field goal unit comes on.
Yeah, you look at a lot of confusion here, but they give it to Bolin inside. He's able to, Owens gets enough of them, but he does fall forward. He's really close to that first down, but it looks like about 2 feet left to go. They've got to be just inches short of the 25-yard line, but they are going to bring in McLean, who's going to try and kick this thing through, and he has been deadly accurate this year, converting on 92% of his field goal attempts.
42-yard attempt, and he misses.
And as I did with Cunningham, I've cursed them both now for nearly the same spot on the field.
6:19 to go, second quarter. We are scoreless in Bozeman. Montana State takes over after the missed field goal, and boy, Sloan hit behind the line of scrimmage, broke the initial tackle, and then loss on the play.
Safety Blake Keller was all over that one. There was nothing there. Seen a lot of Sloan in this first half. It seems like besides some special team action, we haven't seen much of him on the offensive side of football for several weeks.
Sloan and Davis exit the game. Cody Kirk out of Frenchtown checks into the backfield.
Well, usually when you see Cody, and as of late, it has been
blocking
for blitz protection in the throwing situation. So look for them to put the ball up here.
Here's McGee, stays in the pocket, fires across the middle, has a man at the 45. I believe that, Julius Lloyd with the catch. Hey, you know, Lloyd took a big shot in the first quarter, but did a great job of looking that ball into his hands, and he hung on to it.
Yeah, Lloyd just seems to have an ability to get open deep up the middle. I don't think he catches. He's not interested in those 5-yard outs. He said, Coach, when you want to get it up the field, get the ball to me.
Well, he averages 21 yards a catch, if you can believe that. And there you see the numbers for Julius, 26 on the season coming in. So first down after the big gain. Here's McGee, fires it out there for Akla, and Elvis turns the corner, maybe half-yard short of the first down, but that is such a tough play to defense because Montana State's receivers are so quick. Just get single coverage, quick out.
Yeah, they're so balanced, and we've shown they've all had their big days this season. 4 of them have been up over 100 yards on single receiving days. So you've got to really respect each and every one of them if you were a defensive secondary. And that time, McGee just makes the high percentage throw on the out, and very, very near the first down for Montana State.
Second and short, maybe take a shot downfield here, or they'll stay on the ground and pick up the first down. They run over the right side of that offensive line and pick up the first down. All right, you're a former linebacker. You like these good old smash mouth slugfest, no scoring games?
Well,
You
I love watching the defense, and I love watching defensive have success. So I guess that's true when you don't have any points on the board. Both groups have done a nice job today, and it's been, that time you see backers coming from the backside. Yeah, they have played well, but, really the backers get to have the glory, but it's those guys that are down in that three-point stance that really do all the hard lifting, Chris.
5 receiver set for Montana State on first down. Empty backfield for McGee, who stands in the gun. Straight drop, fires across the middle, has a man wide open at the 30, Deshaun Thomas. He's the forgotten man in this Montana State offense. Lit it up as a freshman, got hurt as a freshman in the Northern Arizona game. It's been a tough road back, but he stayed with it, and now starting to get some playing time and some catches late in the season. Yeah, good protection it starts with, and then he's just open underneath the safeties there. Does a good job catching the ball, securing it, turning upfield. First down, Montana State. He's had a great attitude, too, about his role with this team. He knows it's been tough to get back and get some playing time, but to his credit, he's kept a positive attitude and working his way back. Here's McGee. He's going to throw it up towards the end zone, and fans want interference, but incomplete pass. He was bumped on the route. Lloyd knocked down at the 10-yard line, but no call. Yeah, that it looked like a lot of contact there. I'm not so sure where this ball was at, if it was going to be caught anyway, but you can see there's the push. He knocks him off his route. If that ball comes down inbounds, I think you're probably going to see the flag there, Chris. I think they ruled that not a catchable ball, so incomplete pass. Bring up second down. Gilbert checks into the game along with Aquila. They're split left. Tanner Bleskin split right. Davis in the backfield. Here's the numbers on Denarius, 10 of 16. Denarius looks, fires for Bleskin, and incomplete. Good coverage that time by the Weber State secondary as they blanketed Bleskin. Incomplete pass. Ferron Creighton just does a nice job. There is no space between he and the receiver here. Just a good, little bit surprised that Arias is going for them. It looks like a little bit more locked on to some of these receivers than we've seen him in the past, particularly those shots up the field. That time it looked like they had some open guys. Gilbert got a good inside release on the top of the offensive set, but nothing doing that time with the great coverage. Here's Gilbert, goes in motion. McGee rolls that way, now fires for Gilbert, makes the catch at the 20. And Gilbert out of bounds at the 15 and a first down for Montana State. That was a big play. They've run it twice today. Gilbert comes across the field, runs underneath, and McGee with a perfect pass. Yeah, and as you said, dangerous man, Everett Gilbert. He's going to turn this thing up, and this time not much there, but there's a great job of knowing where that stick is and moving the chains. Very hard, too, for a right-handed quarterback to roll left like that and still be able to make that perfect pass. So, big play by Gilbert, his third catch of the day, and a first down for Montana State. Clock running, 3 minutes to go, second quarter. Bobcats knocking on the door at the 16 in the scoreless game. The give is to Davis. Davis met at the line of scrimmage, nothing doing. No gain, 2nd and 10. So that run defense for Weber State kind of flexing its muscle here. Yeah, they're stepping up. As we said, they're 7th in the conference, giving up over 170 yards a game on the ground. But this time, and so far today, really, particularly in the middle, they have been very tough. Well, I think the numbers will be there for Montana State at the end of the half. You're going to see some big offensive numbers, but red zone opportunities so far, nothing doing for Montana State. Well, you're talking about a great MSU #1 red zone offense in the Big Sky. Weber State #1 red zone defense. So something's got to give here, Chris. Second down from the 16. Here's McGee. Looks, flushed out of the pocket. Now finally tries to throw, and ball is on the ground. And no call just yet. It's either going to be an incomplete pass or a fumble. Well, I saw the referee did beanbag it there as if it was a fumble. So he is going to, again, that's the 6th time, we were just talking about, the 6th time that Weber's defense has come up with a turnover this season in the red zone. But McGee just gets flushed out here, and as he goes to throw it, just loses the handle on that ball. Well, in turnovers, boy, the last 2 games have really affected Montana State. They had, as you mentioned, 4 last week, and then Already a fumble today and now another, so 2 fumbles today.
Yeah, and particularly down in the red zone, the 15-yard line. I mean, you just cannot turn the ball over. You've got to come away with some points down there. Even if you get stuffed, you take that sack. At least you give yourself a chance at the 3 points.
2:05 to go, second quarter. We're 2:05 to go, second quarter. Weber State with the football on the 15. Higgins will operate out of the gun. They stay on the ground, and Bolin can't shake the tackle. Taken down for a loss on the play. Now, if you're Montana State, just 1 timeout remaining, so.
Well, you see Grosslak watching him come up and finish, able to get around the feet. Tough to run when you can't move those, Chris, but they've done a good job of containing. I mean, Bolin's got some yards, but so far, not the big plays that they've needed to put a drive together.
Higgins looks to pass, still looking. Now directs traffic, has all kinds of room to run. And Higgins will take it up over the 20-yard line. He'll be short of the first down. But keep in mind now, he goes out of bounds, so that stops the clock with 1:30. The Bobcats do have a timeout, so.
Yeah, this is a big play here on third down, because if they're not able to get it, look to MSU to use that timeout and try and get themselves one more shot before the end of the half. Of course, if you're Weber State, you want to pick this thing up and then maybe take a shot, but probably just let time expire.
So 3rd and 4 for the Wildcats from the 21. Here's Higgins. Looks across the middle, has a man and a first down. And another 3rd down conversion as they get it to Collins. And Collins has just enough for the first down.
Well, this is just a good, safe call. They get the back underneath. I think that's Bolin, actually, who falls forward to get enough for the first down.
Higgins now feels the pressure, and he's taken down inside the 25-yard line.
Well, John Ledette is there to clean this thing up, but credit the guys in the middle that got this early pressure and sprung him out. There you see Mitzer coming hard upfield. Ogden flies by underneath, and Ledette there to clean it up for the 2nd sack of the day against a guy who's really been unsackable this season.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. And now down to 50 seconds to go in the second quarter. Higgins on the slant pattern. And is caught up to the 34-yard line, ball on the ground. Montana State signals they have it, and they do. So the Bobcats get the football back at the 35-yard line.
Well, this is just a huge momentum changer here. He's got this ball, and really at this point, you got to get down, but right before he can, you see that ball come out. I'm not sure who it might be Grosslak that actually gets on that ball along with Owens. Huge turnover, Chris. 40 seconds to play. MSU's got a shot at getting some points on the board to break the scoreless 0-0 tie going into the half.
Well, they're already in the range of Jason Cunningham, but 40 seconds to go, still 1 timeout remaining. So we'll see what Montana State does here before the half. McGee operates out of the gun. Looking, fires across the middle, has Kyle Beggar wide open. Beggar down inside the 20-yard line, and a first down for Montana State. One thing we've seen all day, that middle has been wide open when they spread the field.
Yeah, they have been patient enough to work it here. This time it's with the tight end, who's just been so solid catching the football. And really, he's gotten a lot of yardage this year after the catch for a big boy.
First down, clock running. Here's McGee. Throws across the middle to Beggar, and Beggar makes the catch at the 11-yard line. And now Montana State calls for a timeout. The clock was continuing to run. They may put a few seconds back on the clock.
Yeah, it looks like they did let that thing run down a little bit, but MSU does a nice job of getting it stopped, but it looked like it should have been, at least a couple more seconds on that one.
Yeah, my guess, Mike, you would take 1 shot into the end zone. If you don't get it, take the 3. AJ?
Thank you.
And we'll see what the Bobcat offense draws up as head coach Rob Ash confers with his offensive coordinator. And 11 seconds, you might be able to run it. Now, I don't know if you can get 2 plays off, but at least one shot into the end zone
where you've got to go to the end zone or to the outside. There's anything over the middle, and you could get stuck with no timeouts.
Oh, you would. Yeah. All right, let's go down on the field and join A.J. Donatoni.
All right, guys, there we are. Coming up on the Wendy's Halftime Report, we will have an interview with the Assistant Commissioner of the Big Sky. That would be John Casper. He's going to tell us all about the expansion and what it means for the future for football in the Big Sky Conference, with North Dakota and Southern Utah joining, and what South Dakota not joining has an effect on the conference. That and more is coming up on the Wendy's Halftime Report after the break.
Thanks, A.J. So 2nd and 4, 11 seconds to go, second quarter. Ball at the 11-yard line. McGee will operate out of the gun. A rolling to the right. Looking. Now fires to the back of the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Elvis Akpla. And that's going to bring in the field goal unit as Jason Cunningham trots on with 6 seconds remaining in the half.
Well, a nice play there. They move that pocket to the right and try to create some options for McGee, where he usually has a lot of success. But credit that defense. Both defenses been very successful in the red zone today.
Spot of the ball will be the 18-yard line, so 28-yard field goal attempt for Cunningham. This one on its way, and good. First points of the day are on the board. 28-yard field goal by Jason Cunningham with 2 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Montana State has the lead. Well, they got in position on the turnover and were able to put 3 up on the board. And in this game where points have come,
those are it. We haven't seen a whole lot of scoring. Both field goal kickers have had a shot before that. But really, no one getting a sniff of the end zone. That's as close as we've seen with the one throw to the end zone for MSU. So those 3 points, very, very important.
Well, and turnovers has been an issue with Montana State in recent weeks, and turnovers really by both teams today.
Yeah, here's the first one with Akpla over the middle. MSU moving the ball. Then again, you see MSU just missing on the field goal. And then Weber's had some of their own, their missed field goal. And then, of course, you're going to come back. It's got to be the fumble that hurt them late. McGee gives it back to him. And then here, the fumble in the middle of the field to give them what was the possession for the 3 points and the lead.
Scoring drive for Montana State, 4 plays, 22 yards. Cunningham's 28-yard field goal, which we're told is a new school single-season record for Jason Cunningham.
46, I believe. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe he just passed Mark Carter, who played with me in the mid-'80s and has held on for a while. But
man, that's an old record.
We've still got a few guys with some numbers on those charts, but Mark, a great job.
That long ago,
These young kids, well, it seems like yesterday to some of us, Chris.
That was a long time ago. All right, then we're going to take you down memory lane here, Mike. This is from 1985. Is that you? Is that you making that play?
They dug very deep in the archives to find that, because there was I think my career reception total was just on your screen, Chris. 1.
You are athletic on that
yeah,
play.
I thought I was going to score on that, but then everybody seemed to get there before I could move my feet.
That was great stuff. I don't know how they found that.
That's deep in the archives.
That is,
wow,
that's
dusty.
The athleticism, though. That's all right. So head to the locker room here in a 3-0 game. Well, we did not expect this kind of game.
Chris, we come in. Both defenses have struggled at times. They've given up a lot of points, given up some big plays. But boy, we thought this was going to be a shootout, and what we're seeing is a defensive battle, and it has come down to turnovers. MSU has had 2 costly ones, but dodged a couple bullets when Weber State wasn't able to capitalize. But the one on the end, the last 40 seconds, Weber State just trying to move the chains enough to run out the clock. Boy, they end up turning it over at the end of the pass play, and boom, it's a 3-0 ball game.
When you look at this game before and look at the numbers these two teams have put up offensively, Montana State ranked in the top 10 in the country, #1 in the Big Sky in total offense, but these two defenses have played very good football today. As well, you see the score, 3-0, and part of that you have to attribute to the miscues, the turnovers in the red zone. Montana State had one. We will step aside here and be back with the Wendy's halftime report from Bozeman. Montana State with a 3-0 lead over Weber State. Scoring game as Montana State, on the strength of a Jason Cunningham field goal, leads 3-0 over Weber State. You could not have convinced me that we'd have this kind of a game going into this one in lieu of the offensive production by both teams. But Mike, we talked about it. You had turnovers last week for Montana State, turnovers again today, not just for Montana State, but for Weber as well.
Really, they're moving the ball pretty well, pretty effectively, but the turnovers have shut down. And most importantly, that last one where McGee loses it on the outside really changes the game. That's our game breaker, because he probably took points off the board for MSU on that play.
Yeah, and I think we haven't seen the numbers yet for the first half. I'm gonna suggest that Montana State's going to have a huge edge in total offense when we finally get to take a look at them. But again, when you turn the ball over, can't score in the red zone, and this has been both teams this afternoon, and it is a big game. It's a crucial game for both teams, but really not so much Montana State not able to move the football, just not able to move when they've had chances to score.
Right, and it's just those opportunities in a game tight like this against two teams fighting for the Big Sky Conference title hopes. They've got to be more effective down there taking care of the football.
Well, we talked about what's on the line for both of these teams. Weber State simply has to win out in order to reach the postseason. That includes a win today and then again against Northern Arizona next week. The Bobcats would most definitely like to lock up a playoff spot with a win today. They think they can do that if they wind up getting this win this afternoon over Weber State. So much more to come on the Wendy's halftime report. We'll be back from Bobcat Stadium. About it going into the break that we thought, when we got to look at the numbers in the first half, even though it's a 3-0 game, the total offense, Montana State certainly got their share in the first half, just unable to put points up on the board. And we look at the numbers through 2 quarters of play, and right there, 224 yards of total offense. That's good by anyone's standards, but yet just the 3 points to show for it.
Yeah, just move the ball. And similar to, Montana State's offense, kind of a flashback to last week, ISU, they had huge numbers, but they had a very difficult time getting points on the scoreboard.
Talked about
happening again today.
You talked about time of possession last week and how Weber was able to control clock against the Grizzlies down in Ogden, but look at the difference this week. Montana State holding the ball for nearly 18 minutes to just 12 for Weber State, so they were certainly able to turn that stat around, and I know it was something that they were focused on, but then the big bugaboo again for Montana State, those ugly turnovers, and that's what's kept both teams really from scoring.
The 2 fumbles have severely impacted Montana State, when both drives looked like they were going to come up with points again, but the 3 points is right on top of Weber State for that fumble. And again, so critical. You're 40 seconds away from finishing out the half, and that miscue really cost you.
Also, we get set to go in the third quarter. If you're the coach for Weber State, what kind of changes are you going to make now as you try to make those offensive adjustments in the third quarter against what's been a very good Montana State defense today?
Well, if you look at those numbers, look at the passing yards. Montana State's got a 100-yard advantage there. I'm not making a living coaching, but if I got Cameron Higgins, I'm going to go out there and throw it against a defense in Montana State, which is at or near the bottom in defensive passing. So right. I think I give him a chance to go out and put the thing in the air, but if you're going to do that, you're going to have to live with the mistakes too.
Well, and the thinking for Weber State is let's take Cameron Higgins out of the passing game, focus on the run, cut down on the interceptions. They've done that, but as you say, maybe it's time to open up the playbook a little bit more against Montana State in the second half. So we'll continue on with the Wendy's halftime report as we wind the clock down and get set to get things going here in the third. Back with more from Bobcat Stadium after these words from your local.
Here with Montana State Bobcats head coach Rob Ash. Coach, naturally 2 high-scoring offenses in the Big Sky, 3-0 at the half. You guys on top. How do you explain the defensive battle so far?
Well, on our side of the fence, AJ, we've just got a group of guys that are very committed to showing that we're back on defense. It's nice having Clay Bignell back, and Craney and Briggs, all of our guys, but more so than that, we've just got a group that's growing in confidence now again and playing like we thought we could play all year. On the other side of the ball, they're doing a good job up front of destroying blocks, and they're doing a nice job of trying to keep some of our favorite plays under control. But we have some ideas for the second half.
So what did you tell the guys in the locker room, especially the offensive guys, coming back after the second half? How do you expect them to respond?
You know, we moved the ball very well. When you think about it, we started deep in our territory a couple times, moved out. We just have to finish drives. The word we used all through the halftime was finish. That's what we've got to do.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Chris, back to you.
All right, thanks, AJ. As we get set to go here in the third quarter, let's take a look at what transpired in half number one. And as you might expect, a lot of miscues and turnovers. Here was a great play, but Elvis Ackler just coughs it up at the end of the play, fumbles it. Weber State has it.
Yeah, and you see Bolin, nice job showing his speed up, and he just tight ropes this thing down the sideline.
How about the job he did staying in bounds, but they were turned away.
Yeah, this is we get back to the third down stop on the goal line. Then boom, it's the fourth down stop, I believe, is right there. Just a huge goal line stand for MSU. And boy, we didn't know how critical that might be when it happened.
That was a just sensational one-handed catch by Seawing. That led to the field goal attempt by Jason Cunningham. He was wide right, so after the first quarter of play, we were scoreless. Weber State then got the football back. They tried to put together a drive, but Dan Ogden came in for the sack.
Yeah,
that led to this field goal attempt.
In one of two MSU sacks in this first half. Keep in mind, that's half as many times now that has been sacked all season, so a good job. And then here's the big fumble by McGee.
That's right. That was with Montana State driving late in the second quarter, so Weber got it back under a minute to go in the half, and they coughed it up on this fumble. And this would eventually lead to the only points of the game. Jason Cunningham from 28 yards out. He drills it through the middle of the uprights, and that's where we stand after 2 quarters of play. 3-0 Montana State. And we have to tell you before we start the third quarter here, Chef Jim made an appearance in our broadcast booth at halftime with some of those cupcakes that you saw in the kitchen guy. I got to tell you, folks, that was absolutely delicious.
They have been the highlight today.
The entire production truck has been eating cupcakes all through halftime, and that's been the chatter between the booth and the truck. Is how good.
I'm going to go and announce it right now that Jim did give me an extra one for my son Brogan, because if I don't cop to it now, it's going to be gone by the end of the game, and he's going to miss his chance.
If Brogan doesn't get to say hello to the man that has the tastiest 2 minutes in television, he's going to go home to Missoula, a disappointed youngster.
One of his heroes.
That's right.
Jim and the Cake Boss.
I love Jim's recipes. We have fun talking about it, but that's nice to, you know, put the bib on and do a little cooking every now and then.
Well, you hear about all those every week. We hear, hey, thank the quarterback club for the meal that the guys out in the crew got. We don't ever see any of the spoils of that, so it's nice of Jim to give us our shot this week.
That's right. Montana State had the ball to start the game. They'll kick to Weber State. Weber State wanted deferred, so Cunningham will kick it away, and there's Sloan, or Brown rather, Jordan Brown, back to receive for Weber. Well, this will be a very interesting third quarter, and I think a very critical first possession for Weber State as they try to get something going offensively. Cunningham, his kick is high and deep, and Brown, standing in the back of the end zone, will not bring it out. So the touchback, Montana State with the football. Pointed note, Caleb Schreibeis suspended for the first half by Big Sky Conference Commissioner Doug Fullerton for an altercation that he had in the Idaho State game, was suspended for the first half of this game, but now Schreibeis is eligible to play here in the second half.
And
I
think that's really important, because with all the injuries that MSU has had at that defensive end position, it's good to have him available and to give them just a little bit more depth up front against the big offensive line of Weber State.
Weber State stays on the ground, and some good running room for Bolin, who takes it up over the 25 to the 26-yard line. And Clay Bignell is starting the second half, so he is in the middle, and that's going to move Alexei Grosolak out to outside linebacker and much more in his comfort zone there.
Yeah, and watch them come. That time, great play. Fuller comes just a little bit low on the tackle, but Bignell was right there. Hey, when you've got a running back like Bolin and an offensive line like Weber State has, you're going to have some success sooner or later running the football.
Bolin wrapped up and taken down by Dan Ogden. No gain on the play, and that'll bring up 3rd and 4. Well, the big fella makes a nice open field tackle.
Watch 90 just push upfield inside. the ability to get off blocks is really his forte. He almost gives that elbow drop to the Weber State running back as he was trying to return to the huddle there. But Dan Ogden has made a bunch of big plays in his career, and there was another one.
3rd and 4 from the 26-yard line. And here's Higgins out of the gun. Now throws the screen pass complete to Tafuna, who takes a huge hit at the 30-yard line, but not before he picks up the first down.
Just gets just enough. This is 245 pounds moving up. Little swing pass out in here in the flat, and then he just turns it up. That's a bolt, and if he doesn't fall forward, it's 4th down and they're punting it. So that's a good job by Tafuna.
I think Owens got the worst of that. Now Tafuna's going to be wrapped up and taken down by Ogden. Oh, man, all the way back to the 20-yard line. Big-time play by the Cat
just
defense.
Talked about it, but watch the push that number 90, Dan Ogden, gets upfield. You can see him as he comes into your screen. He just flat beats number 71. That's Janico Tumatio, who is the guard. A true freshman, getting a little bit schooled that time by the senior 4-year starter for MSU.
One of 2 freshmen on that offensive line for the Wildcats. Lost to 7, 2nd and 17 from the 24. Higgins fires across the middle, and this one is caught at the 40-yard line and very close to the first down. Looks like he'll be maybe a yard short.
Well, we talked about how this offensive line has done a great job of protecting. Look at the pocket here. There's not a blue screen in your picture, and he just steps up and delivers it. Hey, this guy can throw it. We've talked about it. He's got a great history of throwing the football.
Boy, again, I tell you what, when Tafuna gets the football, he just takes guys on head on.
There's not,
everybody's wobbly getting up.
With Cody Kirk, when he runs the ball, there's not a lot of deception. But I think he may have a heck of a lot more moves than this guy. He is a straight line runner, Chris.
Quick call, quick count on first down, and this is Booker. And Booker on his feet down inside the 45, close to the 40, but flags on the field on the far side.
Yeah, you can see Booker. He is a real change of pace from the straight power running of Tafuna, and he comes in, brings a little bit more speed to the package, but Booker also a big back at 6 foot, 215 pounds.
And Clay Bignell is taking a
illegal
knee.
Substitution, number 45 on the defense. Did not get off the field before the snap. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So Weber State will get a first down.
See, he turns this thing outside, finds a
Correction
little
on the
room.
penalty.
That makes a nice
Previous
cut there.
spot penalty, which will be declined, first down.
Of course, Weber State will take the play on the big gainer by Booker, and Bignell is going to exit this game as he walks to the sideline. Of course, he's been bothered with injuries all season. There's Josh Booker. Gain was down to the 41-yard line of Montana State in a first down. 12.5 to go, third quarter in a 3-0 game. Booker again, got some running room, spins out of one tackle, and then takes it down close to another first down. Good running by Josh Booker.
You can see him watch on the left side. They just down block. They pull the guard around, and he gets a great block, kicking out the backer. That's what they did exactly so well against Montana. So we've seen, while they picked up their first downs throwing the ball, they're still committed to that ground game.
Gain of 9 on the play, 2nd and 1. Booker again, he's got a first down inside the 30. Then his offensive lineman just picks him up and throws him for another 3 or 4 yard gain. That was J.C. Orem.
Yeah. I'm not sure if aiding the runner could be any more clearly defined than what you'll see right here at the end of that play. Unbelievable.
He's going to have words with him after this game. Here's Booker now. Gets to the outside, and boy, I'll tell you what, he's got 6 points. Were it not for Joel Fuller, who makes a touchdown-saving tackle inside the 15-yard line.
Well, here you can see they change it up, they bring in the speed back, and he's just making cuts to the outside, and you see him grinding away on that one, but hey, they're picking up some momentum running the football.
Well, and Booker's fresh. He hasn't played much in the first half, and they're getting a steady diet of Booker here to start the third quarter, and you noticed how fast They're running to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, watch it. And that's one of the things, and we've seen MSU do similar things with that no-huddle offense. They can operate at several different paces, and they've got the MSU defense a little bit off balance with this quick hurry-up.
Boy, nothing that time as Bowen is taken down.
You can see it, a lot of it triggered, though the penalty was declined. Not being able to get people in and out of the rotation on defense is part of the things that you prevent with this hurry-up offense. But here we see they've slowed it down a little bit, and MSU is making mass substitutions on the defensive side of the football.
Collins split left along with Mike Phillips. 4 receiver set, 3rd and 8 from the 12-yard line. Huge play for both teams, and now flags come flying in.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 70 offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's Titan Timoteo. Is there a better, we talked about some great football names. Is there a better football name than Titan? You gotta love that one. You gotta love that name. He just got a little bit early start there, and this is a costly area on the field to get that 5-yard penalty, because now you're at 3rd and 12. You've really stretched that first down yardage and put a lot more pressure on your play calling.
3rd and 13, 3 receivers set to the right. Here's Higgins, throws that way. Ball is tipped and almost intercepted. Hit at the line of scrimmage, so Montana State with a big stop here, and that will lead to a field goal attempt.
Well, pretty good pocket here. A little bit of pressure that comes up the middle that causes him to just throw that ball a little bit higher than he'd want. Credit Minter on that, who you've got to throw over him. He's a defensive tackle with 2 interceptions and 7 pass breakups on the season. So that forced that to go a little bit high. Now it's going to be the field goal kicker again, McLean, for Weber State.
This will be a 34-yard attempt. High snap, they get the ball down, and this one is going to sail wide right. So McLean, who's been near perfect all season, 0 for 2 in this game, and with 10 minutes to go in the 3rd, Bobcats maintain a 3-0 lead. Montana State takes over after the missed field goal by McLean. 10 minutes to go in the 3rd. Davis cuts upfield. Oh, he takes a big-time shot. That's
Mo
good
Neal,
defense, huh?
outside backer for WSU, is able to come up and finish off on that play. Just a little stretch. They had some linemen pulling out in front to the left, but McNeil reads it well and is able to come up and make a great tackle. Short game of 2.
Oh, it looked like Davis was going to get a whole lot more, but Neal with a good finish. They give him 3, so 2nd and 7 from the 23. 5 receiver set for Denarius McGee. And McGee surveys the field, now looks right, comes back left, and throws it up there. And that was intended for Julius Lloyd. They had everybody lined up on the right side. Lloyd in single coverage, unable to make the catch.
Boy, they had some other receivers. I don't know if these are called routes today, but they really looks like Denarius is locked in on a receiver. That time, they not only did they have the coverage underneath, but the safety was coming over Keller and had good coverage over the top. It looks like they're getting guys open on the offense side of the field, but either not in the play call or Denarius is just locked down.
3rd and 7. Here's McGee. Looking, now fires across the middle, and Seawing with another spectacular catch up near midfield.
Has he been on fire today? That is 2 just big-time catches by Seawing today. Watch, this ball is thrown. Looks again like it's going to be too long, but he just reaches out and goes up, knowing full well that he is going to take a shot from the safety, because Blake Keller was right there. But another great catch by that young man today.
Well, the Highliners will be thrilled with that, huh? The young man out of Saco.
Well, they should be.
Here's McGee, throws one up, and Gilbert all alone at the 35. Gilbert inside the 30 and a 1st down. Everett Gilbert, another big gainer for Montana State.
Well, that time, credit McGee. He just does a nice job. They bring pressure up the middle. The pocket breaks down. Well, he throws this off his back foot, but has got enough arm there to get the ball upfield to Gilbert, and then he, of course, turns it upfield and gets a few yards on his own.
Gain is down to the 28. 1st down, 8.5 to go, 3rd quarter. McGee has Lorenzo Davis in the backfield. Ackland Gilbert split to the right. Here's McGee, looks for Lloyd, has him at the 20. And Julius Lloyd again, just that quick out pattern. Well, that's just not fair when you're locked up in single coverage.
Well, he's just getting a huge cushion up here on the top, and they're just going to take these 10 free yards here. If they're going to play that deep on the outside, we've got a quarterback that can step up and deliver it. So they'll take that every time, and we'll see, though. Boy, now we're nearing that red zone area where Weber has been so good, and MSU has been traditionally good, but a little bit of struggles there today.
Gain of 7, 2nd and 3. Ball at the 21-yard line. McGee now steps back. He operates out of the gun. He's got Davis. Brings Gilbert into the backfield. And Gilbert has the football. And Gilbert now fumbles the football. And I think Davis fell on it.
I think it was actually McGee
Yeah,
that looked
McGee
like he was down. You can see them coming out of the bottom of the pile with it there. But, boy, just a real dangerous play there. But Gilbert's unable to hold on. You see, they bring him back from the outside
recovery
formation.
by Weber State. First down.
Well,
oh, they're not going to give it to McGee.
Yep.
That thing is just stripped out of there. A nice play by number 57. That was Malone Feasey that was able to get that thing out. And, boy, the turnovers, we've talked about them, killing MSU so far today.
And keeping Weber State in this game. Even though the Bobcats have dominated in total offense, Weber State has been able to come up with the big plays. And another costly turnover for Montana State. So the Bobcat defense will be tested again as the Wildcats have it. First down out of the I formation from the 28. They stay on the ground. By Tafuna, wrapped up by John Ledette. He's going nowhere.
Boy, and Ledette stands him up, and then he gets help in a hurry from the interior. Dan Ogden and a couple of all those other lines. Jason D'Alba. Lineman did a good job that time. Hey, another nice job of tackling here by MSU. And these guys, this group has run wild on offense the last 2 weeks rushing the football, but really haven't got it going with the exception of the last drive with Booker.
So Weber State now looking at a 3rd and 12. And this has just been a miserable series for the Wildcats so far. Although they've come up with some big third down
so
conversions.
far, they really have. They've done an excellent job, I think, getting the ball upfield and over the middle on 3rd down. So let's see if they go back to that area here.
Higgins, straight drop, throws out to his right, has a man at the 36-yard line. That's caught by Rott, but it's going to be short of the first down.
He is going to be short, and that's going to bring up a big decision here. I think it's too early, and you're too close to your own end zone to go for this. But here, just a good throw, a little bit off his back foot, so the ball is low. If that's a little bit higher, maybe he's able to turn around with the ball and fall forward for that first down. But it is going to bring up a punting situation, so MSU will get the ball back after the a quick 3-and-out after their fumble.
Josh Kelamakia stands inside his 25. Good pressure up the middle, gets it away. Fair catch signaled for. And we got a flag back, and I think we're going to be roughing the kicker.
If it's roughing or running
Personal
into
foul,
the kicker.
Roughing the kicker
Yeah.
on the defense. 15-yard penalty.
Oh.
First down.
Either one was going to bring up a first down for Weber State, and that was the special teams captain, Tanner Ripley, number 59, who comes from the right side and gets a little contact there. That guy, he makes so many positive plays and has been so good on special teams for MSU for so long. But here, watch him come. He's on the left side here. He comes around the wall, and as he falls forward, he's just going to come into contact right underneath there, boy. Not much contact, but certainly a stellar acting job by the punter there. First down, Weber State.
Here's Higgins, gets it to Phillips, who breaks one tackle, but short gain on the play. The screen, they give him 3. Phillips has been pretty quiet today. He's a senior.
Well, that nice play on the outside. You talked to him about him earlier. Having Arnold Briggs back and healthy in this secondary makes all the difference in the world as he drove up very aggressively, didn't get the tackle, but allowed the help to come from the inside.
Sean Gord's in the lineup now as Booker tries to cut up inside. He's going to be taken down, but a good surge will bring him very close to the first down. I think he'd be a half-yard short.
Well, I think this is where we're seeing Booker be effective in it. They're running, it's a similar play here. They stretch to the outside. He's got the fullback in front. The difference is his speed level is allowing him to get up in that crease just a little bit sooner than the other backs that they've shown us so far today.
So Booker out, Tafuna in on 3rd and less than 1. And Tafuna straight ahead, falls forward, first down to the 35. So good surge by that Weber State young and inexperienced offensive line, but they run right up under center and get the first down.
Boy, that's just a heck of a lot of beef to stack behind what is already a very big offensive line when you get Tafuna and Crosper in there. Just a lot to take on and stop in a short yardage situation.
Already close to being in field goal range, as Higgins will give to Tafuna, tries to get outside, does a nice job of running as he gets down to the 32-yard line. Close to a 5-yard gain.
Well, Tafuna, we've seen him run over several guys, but watch this time. He's able to make that first guy miss, give him the dead leg there, but Grosselak is able to come and finish.
He does get 5, so 2nd and 5 from the 32. Here's Higgins, screen pass to Phillips. Phillips has got a first down and more. Phillips down inside the 25 and a first down. Mike Phillips, nice drive by Weber State here late in the 3rd quarter.
This offense is really executing well here, and you can see again they're doing it that up-tempo pace that gave them a little bit of a boost on the last drive.
Montana State just trying to get personnel in. That time nothing doing. That'll be a loss of 1 on the play. Boy, that run defense, it's been stout.
Dan Ogden has just been an absolute animal in the middle. They just can't get anything going very often because he's got such a good press. Slides the block there. It is right there, and I don't care how big you are. You're not going to get through a wall of 3 Bobcats like that. Great job by the senior.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10 from the 24. Crowd back into it and on their feet. Big series for the Wildcats as they try to get on the board. Here's Higgins, run a little option. Now it's the reverse back the other way. And read perfectly by Montana State. They got it to Joe Collins, the wide receiver. And nothing doing as he's taken down for a loss.
That is just credit James Andrews and Jody Owens on this, because this is just great discipline on the backside. Staying home, doing your job. They get the, here comes the reverse. They've cleared out everybody inside, but boy, these guys are both there to take care of that thing and stop it for a little bit of a loss.
Loss of 2, so 3rd and 12 from the 26.
We've seen a few 3rd downs today, Chris.
Here come the Bobcats. Higgins across the middle, complete but short of the first down. Short by a yard.
Boy, it's going to be very close. Let's see, it's actually Michael Reidner comes in to make the stops and actually slips right before this ball is delivered here, allowing them to get a few more yards upfield. But here we see again.
4th down, I think they're going to go.
It's going to be 4th down and they're going to go. I guess if I got a field goal kicker that's missed 2 from about this range, I got to think it's the way to go.
4th and 1.
That's a huge offensive line. It looks like they're going to bring in their big package. They've got 2 fullbacks in front of Tafuna, who is virtually a fullback in himself.
And the give is to Tafuna. He gets to the outside, a first down and then some. Tafuna inside the 10, finally corralled out of bounds, but not before he gets down to the 7-yard line.
Well, a little bit of a wrinkle that time for Weber State. Normally Tafuna is a guy that you see go straight up the middle of the field. This time they gave him the little pitch to the outside, and he's able to pick up enough for a big Weber first down on the Montana 6-yard line.
You know, for as big as he is, he's got some nimble feet. You know, he's able to shift around, and that was a big play. So 1st and goal from the 6. Weber State looking for the lead here. Bolin wrapped up and taken down by Grosselak. Loss on the play, and looks like we might get a holding call.
Yeah, I think we are going to get a holding call. Looked like it was on the left side of that Weber offensive line.
Holding on the offense, number 13, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, we've seen now, this is twice where this Weber State offensive unit has really hurt themselves with penalties down here in the red zone. They come into this game as the most penalized team in the Big Sky Conference. And boy, you can see, particularly in a tight game like this, that those 2 penalties have been very costly for them so far in this third quarter.
So now it'll be 1st and goal from the 16. I can't remember a game when 2 teams have struggled so much in the red zone. So see if Weber State can capitalize here late in the third as Higgins up under center puts Collins in motion. He's split wide right. Tafuna looks like he's got some room to the outside, but just comes right back up to the inside, and a touchdown for Weber State. Vi Tafuna with a big-time run from 16 yards out, and the Wildcats have the first touchdown of the day and the lead.
Well, this is a great call. Well, they stay under center a long time. Audible out of this thing. He starts upfield and then kicks that thing to the outside, similar to the play that they used to pick up the first down previously. But boy, that's huge in a game like this where points have been very hard to come by.
So Sean McLean now on for the extra point. Kick on its way and good. So with 1 minute to go in the third quarter, Weber State has taken the lead over MSU at Bobcat Stadium. 7-3 Wildcats when we come back. And the scoring drive for Weber State, 13 plays, 72 yards. 6.5 minutes off the clock. Vi Tafuna, the final 16 on a good hard run, leading to the first touchdown of the day and a 7-3 lead for Weber State. That was an impressive drive there, partner.
Yeah, they're just doing it. I was impressed with the play calling there. They finally recognized that inside is tough, and they're really attacking Zach Minter at that bandit position on the outside, where they give the ball up inside, and then they just race to the outside, and so far they're beating them into the corner.
Here's Davis, who gets hit as he crosses the 20, falls forward to the 25, and that's where Montana State will have the ball when we come back. Back for the final minute of the third quarter. Montana State trailing for the first time today with the football. Here's Davis. Some good running room up close to the 30-yard line, but then that hole is closed down quickly. He'll pick up 4, maybe 5 on the play.
Well, you see initially you've got a nice hole pull around there by Alex Tarian, and he just kind of gets caught up in the wash behind Leo Davis, and they were able to shut that thing down for 4 yards.
Nick Webb stayed put and made a nice tackle, so does get 5 on the play. Here's second down. Now McGee will look over and get the signal. And the give is to Davis. Davis tries to get outside, but taken down. A great open field tackle by Keelan Marcial, the corner, who comes up and makes the open field tackle on Davis for no gain.
He's jumping, does a nice job for them coming upfield and making the big stop, bringing up another crucial third down.
Timeout, Weber State.
3 quarters of football are in the books here in Bozeman. Weber State leads by 4.
Media timeout.
And you see the numbers now starting to even out as Weber State has dominated this third quarter in both time of possession and yards.
Yeah, MSU had their one drive, which they moved the ball very well. But again, there's the story right there. 3 Montana State turnovers. The 3 fumbles have just crippled that offense's ability to score the football today.
Bobcats looking at a 3rd and 4 from the 31. Here's McGee, pulls it down, now fires, and incomplete. And no flags on the play, and a great job defensively for Weber State, and that forces Montana State to punt it away.
Well, you've got to be really excited right now if you're Weber State, because you just forced a quick 3 and out for Montana. You're getting the ball back, and boy, Weber State has owned that third quarter. They control the ball at least 11 minutes, maybe close to 12, and have done a great job of keeping the most explosive offense in the Big Sky on the sidelines.
So Brown will stand back at his 25, and Perez will kick it away from the 15. Perez gets a foot into it. Brown calls for the fair catch at the 28 and makes it. So now the onus is on the Montana State defense to try to slow down this Weber State offense and get the football back. And much like was the case last week against Montana, where Weber State just controlled the clock in that fourth quarter to seal the win, they've got an opportunity to do the same thing this afternoon.
While they weren't able to really control possession in the first half, that third quarter, as we said, just was dominated by Weber State. And this is a time, if the MSU defense is back, as Coach Ash has said, this would be a great time to show it.
Josh Booker now in the lineup. He's got the ball. He'll be wrapped up and taken down for no gain. Boy, that time the Bobcats did a great job stringing the play out. Alexei Groselak in on the tackle.
Well, this is a good defensive adjustment. Weber was making a living stressing the outside and trying to get outside Minner. This time they bring in Trammell at the backer spot, get a little more beef on that outside. Now you can see it's back to Michael Ryder playing the backer on the other side.
Higgins to Phillips. Not much there. Phillips did a nice job of fouling forward and made something out of nothing. They'll give him 4 or 5 on the play, so it's a 3rd and 5 for the Wildcats. Well, Weber State, Eastern Washington, Montana, Montana State, all in the mix now in the FCS and the playoffs with a couple of weeks remaining. And there's a whole lot of scenarios, Mike, that can happen depending on this game right here.
Boy, we're right in the middle of one of the key games in any of those scenarios today between these two of the 2 of the 4 remaining title contenders.
3rd and 6. Higgins caught short of the first down. Well, they got the completion, but you gotta know where that first down marker is.
Yeah,
they're going to come up just short.
Credit the MSU defenders. Watch them drive up on this ball. Ball's thrown well, but boy, Ryder, Groselak, they are there to make sure he does not get another inch after the catch.
So a 3 and out for Weber State, and Montana State figures to get the ball back. Keelan McKee gets his foot into this one. Fair catch signal for by Bleskin. That was tough.
Yeah, that was
backpedaling, and
you want to leave those to those deep returners. That time Bleskin was the front guy and had to back up and go get one. Very tough catch.
Well, I think he thought he needed to make the catch because if the ball would have landed behind him, I think the fear was they'd pin it deep in their own end. So Tanner with the sure hands makes the catch, and Montana State with decent field position. 13:22 to go in the fourth quarter. But how about this Weber defense, Mike? They give up nearly 29 points a game and 404 yards of offense, and yet they've held Montana State to a field goal.
Well, they've been giving up the yards today, but again, you go back to the fumbles of Montana State.
Boy,
some of those caused, and some of them just kind of absolutely one-sided on the part of MSU.
That was a great catch by Gilbert.
Well, Gilbert has shown just how solid he is in his short time here at Montana State. But they've got to get some consistency now out of this group, and ball security has to be paramount.
You see the numbers on McGee, 2nd down and 10. Ruled incomplete pass, so McGee this time lines up under center. He's got a 4-receiver set, and they'll stay on the ground at Davis. Davis, a little bit of running room to the 25. So just a gain of 3, it brings up 3rd and 7.
Well, it just seems like the last few series, we just run a couple plays and get back to that big 3rd down, which is really where everything is boiling down to. Right now, both defenses have been able to get some stops here, but Weber State, they have been better on 3rd down all throughout the 3rd quarter. And now if MSU's going to get back into it, they got to pick up some of these big 3rd downs.
Gilbert goes in motion. McGee's going to roll that way. Now throws. Has a man wide open. That's Elvis Acklet, the 45. Acklet a midfield and a 1st down. Another big 3rd down conversion for Montana State.
Well, there is a big third down conversion. They need to keep this thing rolling right now. And here you see the MSU offense. They roll the pocket. Everybody moves out to their right, gives them room. Akpla is able to sit down in the hole there on the outside and get more than enough for the first down.
Gain is all the way to midfield. McGee quickly right back to Akpla again. Tries to spin out of a tackle. Going to be wrapped up and taken down at the 45, but a quick 5-yard gain. And this has kind of been the story of the entire day for this Montana State offense. Move the ball down the field and then struggle in the red zone.
Yeah, here just the same thing. A big cushion that time from Ferron Creighton. They throw the ball underneath, pick up a nice game of 7, maybe 8, bring up a real opportunistic second down where you mentioned earlier, this is when you can take a shot down the field.
Inside 12 minutes to go, 2nd and 3. McGee looks, fires, has a man, Gilbert inside the 35 to the 33, and that's another first down. Nice play that time on the play fake by McGee.
Yeah, he looks like as he steps out here, first there's the play fake, looks underneath the beggar, and then boom, upfield. Those two, they run that play so well, Chris, and it's almost if there's such a thing as a passing option play, that is it, because it's just 1, 2, 3, and you can see him work through his progression. And they have been very effective with that all year long.
Here's the pitch to Davis, runs up inside. You know, what was great about seeing the angle of that play, had he continued rolling to his right, it looked like he was going to the tight end, but then he saw Gilbert and just stopped dead in his tracks and went to Gilbert, who was deep of beggar, so he had two different reads to look at.
Yeah, he's got a great ability to really set his feet quickly as he's vacating the pocket and deliver a strike upfield. That time, boy, it looked like a big crease on the run, but Cedillo right there to make a nice stop.
Davis got 3 on the play, so 2nd and 7 from the 30. Here in the 4th quarter, Montana State has been shut out of the end zone, and Tanner Bleskin took a huge hit, and now a late flag comes in. Tanner Bleskin took a huge shot from Morales, the middle linebacker.
Yeah, that's Anthony Morales, the backup middle linebacker, 6 foot, 225-pound freshman. I think he's going to get called for the helmet to helmet.
Personal foul, number 44 defense, initiating contact above the shoulders. First down.
Well, we've watch this play because MSU has been on the other end of this several times this year, but the throw over the middle and then he drives up.
Oh yeah.
And boy, that one looks pretty clear, Chris, and I think what we've seen with a lot of those two is that he's going to get a call from the commissioner on Tuesday that may prevent him from participating in next week's game.
Well,
tough call, good football, but that one was pretty high.
And how about Tanner Bleskin holding on to the football and making the catch?
But you mentioned it earlier.
Man, oh man.
When you said sure-handed, I mean, that's a title that fits for that young man.
Bobcats have it inside the 15. Gilbert now comes into the backfield. McGee rolls left, looks into the end zone, has a man, and that's a touchdown, Montana State. Wow, they went right back to Bleskin again after he took the huge shot and put 6 points on the scoreboard.
Boy, that is believing in that young man, and what a courageous effort. He just gets his head nearly taken off over the middle, and they go right back to him, Chris. And he makes that play in front of a great safety, Jordan Brown. Boy, that just tells you that there's a coach either up in the box or down there on the sidelines, maybe both, that really believes in that kid, and not only the coaches, but his quarterback as well.
So the Bobcats score the first touchdown of the day as Cunningham is on for the extra point. It's on its way and good. So with 10:03 to go in the 4th quarter, the Bobcats retake the lead 10-7 over Weber State on the touchdown from Denarius McGee to Tanner Bleskin. So look at the scoring drive. Let's go down on the field and join A.J. Donatoni.
All right, guys, with that touchdown, Montana State now with a 3-point lead with 10 minutes to go. Remember, among the many things that are on the line today, a perfect regular season at home is still a possibility for the Cats if they hold on to this game. If they do win, they will complete their first perfect home schedule since 2005. Interestingly enough, the Cats did not go to the postseason that year, but for now, MSU with a 3-point lead as we get down to the wire, guys.
Now, this has all the makings of a nail-biter now with 10 minutes to go in the 4th. 10-7 lead for Montana State. I'm just wondering if Tanner's going to remember that catch tomorrow morning.
He can read about it in the paper. He's watched. I'm sure he's T-boned the broadcast.
And Cunningham shoots this one out of the back of the end zone. Let's take a look at it again. And keep in mind, Mike, this comes one play after he was rocked.
Yeah, right over the middle. But watch him. You can see McGee with just kind of a passive play fake. Gets the linebackers to vacate, and boom, that ball is delivered. Doesn't take much of a hit on that one, but really to go back in that middle right after the shot that he took on the preceding play, it's a lot of courage.
So now it shifts back to Weber State as they have the football trailing by 3 from the 20-yard line. There's the numbers on Higgins, thrown just 15 passes today, completed 12. They stay on the ground, and again, not much there.
Caleb Schreibeis coming down the line from his in position to make the tackle there. Just a nice job, and boy, he gets help after the first hit too. Watch him come into your screen, and then Ogden, Grosselak. I mean, you're seeing, we're talking about the same numbers and the same names a lot in that middle. So far, the front seven playing pretty good with the exception of really that opening drive and a half in the third quarter.
Give him 2 on the play, 2nd and 8 from the 22. Here's Higgins, looks left, now throws and complete to Tefano up at the 25-yard line. He'll be 4 yards short of the first down.
Oh, that's a heads-up play that time by the senior Higgins. He recognizes the pressure. You see him, he knows it's breaking down, but boy, he hits his big target over the middle, and he's able to pick up about 7 yards.
Good play by Higgins. He looked left, and then his check down receiver was Tefano, who makes the catch and sets up 3rd and short. 3rd and 3 from the 27. Want to crowd into it. Higgins out of the gun. The quick pitch. Tefano has a first down and more. Stays in bounds. And gains close to the 35-yard line, but more important, a first down for Weber State.
That little quick pitch to the outside has been a good play for them in the second half. If you watch this, Schreibeis is on your end down here, and he just fires inside. And it's just too far to go for the outside backer to get there on that one.
Here's Booker. Booker wrapped up for no gain. Good play again by Owens. Comes in to make the initial hit. No gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
Well, Jody Owens has done a nice job today. Several tackles. I mean, he's got to be up 6, 7, maybe 8 already. And boy, you got to love the way that young man throws his body around. There is no indecision on what he's doing. He makes a decision and then he commits.
Austin Rutt checks in on 2nd down. Here's Higgins looking. Now looks left. Can't find anybody. And now throws it out there. Incomplete, intended for Collins. Collins broke off his route. And Higgins tried to hook up with him, but good coverage by that Montana State secondary.
Yeah, he's got a lot of time here. He's well protected, but the coverage is good. And then here you see what receivers are taught to do. When it breaks down, that quarterback gets outside the pocket. Break off your route, get upfield, try and get one over the top.
Big play here, 3rd and 10 from the 35. 8 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Weber 7 of 15, nearly 50% on 3rd down. Here's Higgins, drops, feels pressure, and has the completion to the 45-yard line, and a big shot at the end of the play, but Weber State's Eric Wallen is able to hang on to it for a first down.
Yeah, this is nice. You can see it from the quarterback's view. This is just a strike over the middle. He delivers that ball between the backer and in front of the safety. Receiver, credit him for a great catch there because he held on after taking a big hit.
And Walker lightly used. Fuller is down at the 45-yard line. The gain is all the way to the 46. So when play resumes, Weber State will have a first down. Boy, this is just punch and counter punch now, isn't it? I mean, it's
yeah, it is.
It's gotten into that kind of a game. We'll step aside, take a local break with 8 minutes to go in the 4th in a 10-7 ball game. Well, you know it's serious, Mike, when they break out the cowbell.
Well, I'll tell you, there's one young man that's serious. Cameron Higgins is, I think, 13 for 16 on the day. He has just been very, very accurate.
Well, he's getting pressure now. And this time throws it away in the general area of Phillips. Boy, Higgins really dodged a bullet there because it looked like he was going to be taken down for a big loss on the play, but somehow managed to.
Well, let's see where he's at. Does he clear the outside here, boy? I'm not sure if he does either. Yeah.
On the offense.
That took some discussion, but I think they got it right that time. Just you can see why he doesn't.
Lost it down. Second down.
Why he doesn't take a lot of sacks, because he's willing to get rid of that ball in whatever manner necessary. That time, just not close enough to his receiver to allow that to just be the standard incomplete. They're gonna hit him with the penalty, but again, he's an impressive quarterback, and I think just because his numbers are down with their change in the offense, I think his efficiency today has been fantastic.
Collins and Phillips split left. Austin Route split right. Huge loss on the play. 2nd and 21 from the 43. Here's Higgins, stands in the pocket, has Route over the middle to midfield, and picks up a little bit on the play, but still going to be 3rd and a long way to go for the first down.
Yeah, he's going to get back near the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be about 3rd and 12, but you know, the way that they've been able to be successful on 3rd down, you've got to think, as you see Cosme Pico get a little love tap at the end of that one. This is just where we've seen him over the middle deliver a lot of strikes on 3rd and long.
4 receivers set on 3rd down. They need 12. Here's Higgins, now throws in and out of the hands and almost picked off by Owens. Owens had it for a moment, then couldn't hang on to it. He was going for Josh Booker underneath.
Yeah, this ball just comes out a little hot and it goes through Booker's hands. I believe he probably had a chance to make that catch, and Owens can't hold on either. But another good stop, keyed by the grounding penalty and the pressure that caused it by that MSU defense. They've stepped up their game here in the 4th quarter, Chris.
Kellen McKeon now angles for the corner. Big booming high kick to Sean Thomas. Calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 10-yard line. So Weber State with a good job of playing the field position game now as they pin Montana State inside the 15. Still plenty of time in this one. 6:48 to go in the 4th. Both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining. You see other games in the Big Sky. Northern Arizona leading Northern Colorado by a touchdown in the 2nd. Georgia no trouble with Idaho State. Montana, of course, has the week off. Will close against North Dakota next week. And then, of course, the Cat Grizz clash in 2 weeks. Here's McGee. Rolling. Goes long and deep for Akru. Makes the catch at midfield. And then he is whacked out of bounds.
Boy, the Weber sideline wants that to be incomplete. It just, you see, wants a block on the edge here. Nice job by the tight end, freeing him up to get to the outside. And let's see how this, see, initially he brings this ball down, controls it. Tough to tell from that angle when it came out, but clearly the referees felt that he had control and made the possession for the long completion.
Took a big shot out of bounds, but
well, you're not going to catch too many balls in front of the safeties for Weber State. I'll tell you, Brown and Keller have been very impressive the way they bring the hit at the end of the catch. You're going to pay the price.
Here's Davis, tried to go left, nothing there, so takes it back up the middle down to the 42-yard line. Somehow manages to pick up 4 on the play. Well, you said it during the break, Mike. It's not safe to go across the middle today.
It's not a safe place. Don't send any kids out there either side of the football. I'll tell you what, they are making some big hits over everything between the hashes has really been hard work today. And any yardage or any catch you've made on both sides has been well earned, and credit. You know, you got to pump up 2 defenses. I say it, they haven't got much credit for either one of these schools, but both of them making some great plays today.
2nd and 6, McGee pulls it down. He's got all kinds of time. Now airs it out deep, back of the end zone, and this one's broken up at the last minute. They were looking for Seawing in the end zone. He was open for a moment, but Weber State closed quickly.
Yeah, and McGee takes a big shot at the end of this one. Just a ball is not thrown quite deep enough. Here, as you can see, it allows Seawing's got some separation, but great closing speed that time.
Creighton
by Ferran Creighton.
There's the numbers for Denarius, 22 of 34, 311 yards and a touchdown. 3rd and 6 from the 42. Huge play for both teams. McGee sets, Cox fires. Akla tries to get it with one hand. Incomplete and 4th down.
Boy, pretty aggressive play calling there, back to back. As you said, Chris, there's a lot of time left. Maybe you want to take at least a couple shorter shots. They've had the ability underneath to make those catches to the outside and move the chains. That time, 2 times in a row, they went over the top trying to get the big one, and it's going to result in them being forced to punt the ball back to Weber State.
So Perez will try to pin Weber State deep into their own end as he stands at the 45-yard line. Field position, of course, critical in a 3-point game as Perez pops this one straight up into the air, and a fair catch called for and made at the 15-yard line. So 5:16 to go in the 4th quarter. Both teams with all their timeouts remaining. Buckle in. We'll be back after these words. Back for the final.
False start, number 78 offense, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
All right, so back for the final 5:16 of this one, and as we come back, a false start for Weber. So what was in a tough position, field position-wise, now made worse as we have a 1st and 15 from the 9-yard line. This game clearly seems apparent to be on rest on the defensive side of the ball for Montana State at this point, and they've been terrific all day.
Well, they have been better in this 4th quarter, and that's what allowed them to get back in it. And another nice stop, 44, Alexei Grozalak. You know, that kid, we talk about him a lot, but can you talk about him enough? Redshirt freshman, walk-on kid who has asserted himself as maybe not a leader because of his youth, but boy, is he a spark. Playing in the middle with the injuries to Bignell, playing on the outside normally. I mean, he's just been fantastic.
Well, Coach Ash will tell you he was the biggest surprise this year. The freshman from Billings. Here's 2nd down. Higgins needs some big plays and in a hurry. Bolin gets it up to the 15-yard line, but that's still going to bring up 3rd and long. Call it 3rd and 9.
Well, and again, it was Grosslack. You know, he's showing making plays on the run, making plays against the pass. He's just done a good job and taking care of that middle. You can see a little bit different look on defense where they've dropped him back about 7, 8 yards deep so that he can really read what has been a difficult bunch of looks from the Weber offense.
Need to get to the 24-yard line. Here's Higgins. Drops, sets, fires, and this one is, boy, it is going to be close. They're going to give it to Weber State. Briggs came down with it. Both had the football, but Collins is going to give it to Collins. Yep.
Possession to Collins, and I think Collins does a good job here late because initially at the beginning of this thing, it is all Briggs getting his hands on the football, but boy, the 2 of them are there. Yeah, he does a nice job of pulling that thing down. That's a huge play.
Booker spins out of tackles, now fumbles the football.
Well, Briggs didn't get the call on the last one, but I think he's going to get the call or should get the call on this one because he was clearly in there first to get possession of that fumble.
And you can tell from the reaction of the crowd, Montana State has the football. Now Booker had a 1st down gain and then coughed it up at the end of the run.
Yeah, he's chugging for extra yards at the end of this run. And then you can see, boy, the Grosselak caused it. Ball pops free, and boy, fortunately for MSU, Briggs there to take possession. See if we look at it again. You can see it's Grosselak that's going to make this hit. Coming from the inside, actually knocked the ball loose. Right there, you can see the ball is out along with Ryder with the strip. Good team defense, and then, boy, it's out there up for grabs. And alertly, Briggs is in there to get on it for Montana State.
So Montana State with the ball at the 44. 4 minutes to go, 4th quarter. Weber still with all 3 timeouts remaining. The give is to Davis, and Davis is hit behind the line of scrimmage and bulldog down. You can't do it any better than that. That's Sam Finn who comes crashing in to make the play.
Boy, Sam Finn, the 6'3", 240-pound senior defensive end, just stood him up and had the drive on him on that one. Nothing Here you see, watch Finn come in. Boy, just stands him up, and he was high, but it didn't matter because he brought a load.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Weber State in full desperation mode now. They simply have to win this game, Mike, to have any chance of reaching the postseason. Now here's McGee, safe pass to Kyle Beggar. Beggar up over the 35, inside the 35 and a first down as the tight end from Miles City gets a key first down gain.
And boy, watch the smart play on the end of this. He turns this thing upfield, but awareness from the senior leader of this offensive unit. He's going to turn this thing to the inside. He's going to stay in bounds. It gets the first down, and then he's going to keep the clock moving.
There's the numbers on Kyle coming into the day. 20 catches, 4 touchdowns. It's been a big part of this Montana State offense, and that's about as big as it gets right now. So Weber State will need to burn timeouts now and try to get the ball back. It's at the 32. Davis cuts up inside to the 25. Davis still on his feet to the 20. Davis to the 15, to the 10-5, touchdown Montana State. Whoa, what a huge play by Lorenzo Davis.
Wow,
as he goes in.
Wow is right. Watch the multiple cuts on this thing, because he goes out and finds this hole. They pull people across the formation. Beggar's out in front. He cuts it up the field, and then boom, this is just instinct. He's finding all the right spots and is able to turn it up, and wow. I can't quit saying it. That is a huge play, and those are the plays. That's the first one that he's broke up the field today, but he's been making those same kind of efforts to get really important 3, 4, 5-yard gains for MSU, and that time he's rewarded with the big one for the touchdown.
Cunningham's extra point is good. 2:39 to go in the 4th. Montana State ups the lead to 10. Three plays, 44 yards, capped off by the 32-yard run by Lorenzo Davis. And now a 2-possession game for Montana State as Cunningham kicks it away. And this one will go out of bounds. No chance to return. Let's take a look at it again, and this is just a sensational run. Individual effort by Lorenzo Davis.
Yeah, he gets some linemen out in front of him, but he just finds these holes, and boy, just great cuts outside, back inside. And then there's just a burst of speed that leaves everybody on the Weber State side of the football in his dust.
So Weber State with 2:39 to go. They have 3 timeouts remaining. They'll need a quick score and the onside kick. See what they do here on first down. Here's Higgins from the shotgun. Steps up, now throws underneath, and that's incomplete, intended for Bolin. Good coverage by Montana State.
Yeah,
and brings
nice
up second down.
Pressure up front. It was Ogden as usual. Preston Gale is up there, number 34, your defensive end. Schreibus on the other end, and Mincher at the tackle spot. All 4 guys getting upfield very well on that play.
Well, Montana State's defensive backs, Mike, have done a good job in coverage because Higgins continually has to go to that check down receiver underneath because there hasn't been anything there. This time the little slant pattern to Phillips, and Phillips gets a few up to the 25.
Well, and again, they go into the underneath, as you said, Chris, and that's great early on in the game when you're trying to move the ball up and down the field. But when you get in this situation where you're down 2 possessions with 2:15 left, you've got to take some shots a little bit deeper.
And again, they go underneath to Collins, who has a first down. They'll stop the clock. The gain is to the 32. 2:08 now to go in the 4th. If you're Montana State, you have to be careful. You don't want to give up too much too quickly because you don't want to give Weber State a chance to score with time left on the clock and a chance for the
2 minutes 8 seconds. 2 minutes 8
well,
seconds.
That's not a good sight.
It is not.
There. You've got Arnold Briggs. I can't tell if he's holding that hamstring area where he's had the problems or if he's just cramping up a little bit. We'll hope for the cramp and that he can stay in this game because he has been a tremendous asset for MSU on defense today.
Well, he struggled with hamstring injury all season long and came up holding that. Now keep in mind that his replacement is the true freshman Sean Gords, and Well, he's played well in relief at times.
Yeah, I know what. We're both thinking the same thing, Chris. He's played pretty well, but he's gotten beat over the top a few times, which is expected of a freshman. So this isn't the time that you want to go with your less experienced guys when you've got a great guy like Arnold Briggs. Sub plays sub of the game.
You want to take a shot at
no,
that?
I'm leaving it up to you, Chris. You're in charge.
See, I had you snookered all season. You finally caught. Oh, that's a great pick there, Cruz Seawing. But that catch there alone is enough to earn the big sandwich, the one-handed catch.
I think so, and it was. And let's go back. Yes, you have had me snookered all season.
That pass intended for Phillips, who dropped it at the 35. Wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, again, the quick out for 2 yards is not going to get you 2 scores. So, you know, I understand where they want to go with maybe the high percentage stuff, the stuff that the defense is giving you, but you've got to pressure somebody and look for it to possibly be, as we said, Sean Gores at the top of the formation.
Here's Higgins, goes across the middle. That's complete to Collins, and Collins has a first down to the 49-yard line. And keep in mind, the clock will stop as they move the chains, and that's going to allow Weber State to get to the line of scrimmage. So now it's running inside a minute 50. Here's Higgins, looks right, across the middle. That's complete to the 45. And Bolin diving for the out of bounds, and he's got it, so that stops the clock.
Good play by him. He was sprinting for that sidelines. He knew he was going to be bottled up, and there was not a chance to get that thing upfield. So smart play, get it to the sideline, stop the clock.
We talked about the importance of this game for Weber State. A loss now would give them 3 in the Big Sky and 5 and 4 overall, and that just wouldn't be enough. So this is it for the Wildcats for their season, as Higgins needs a couple of scores. Looks across the middle, and this one in and out of the hands of Eric Walker. And Walker takes another shot. Jordan Craney, Lexi Grosselach, drop back. Owens back there.
Well, we talked about it. We kind of joked about it earlier, but it is not safe out there over the middle. Here we see another one, this ball, and then Grosselach comes from the middle. Craney comes from behind, and boy, that's nice hits. And that's a lot of the way you stop that play over the middle, Chris, is you just make them pay. You make them pay. You don't want to come back.
You don't mince words, do you? Just take them out.
Yeah, I don't. You don't. Wasn't quite going that far. But you don't want to maybe send them to the sideline, but not for the rest of the game.
You sound just like the linebacker you are, is what you sound like.
You want them to come back in and be a little bit short-armed in there, so you don't want to. You can't lay it on them too much.
Well, Walker, the good news, he does come off under his own power. Incomplete passes brings up a 3rd and 1 from the 42. And yeah, Higgins, good numbers, but look at over there on the right, 0 touchdowns.
Yeah, he has been stuck. He's currently tied for the all-time lead in touchdown passes in the Big Sky Conference at 96, but he has not been able to get 97 for a couple of weeks now.
And they go underneath to Bolin, who makes the catch and gets out of bounds. Now here's the other. Well, we have another injured player back at the 50-yard line.
Well, that is.
I think that might be Higgins.
Looks like it is Higgins, and he's down, and he's moving around like he's in a lot of pain. I did not see the hit at the end of the play. Maybe we could go back and pick that up, but yeah, he's in some pain down there. It looked like he was grabbing his knee initially.
Mike Hoke is the backup quarterback, the sophomore. He's warming up. This would be devastating for Weber State.
Yeah, you just don't want a guy who's been a quality player in this league for a long time. You hate to see like that happen ever, but certainly not at the end of your senior year. Well, here we see the ball is released, and boy, just Ledet was coming in and just could not stop it. That is not, that's not a pretty sight. Boy, you can see, watch John Ledet coming from the right side of your screen, and he's just laying out. He was already in the air and had already left his feet, and there was just no way to hold up on that one.
So Hoke is going to come in. Yeah, it's that left knee, and took a pretty good shot. You look at the numbers of Hoke has only thrown the ball 8 times this season. He's 5 of 8 for 43 yards. So
yeah, you've seen him more for Weber State as more of a rushing guy. He's come in and led them in a little bit of an option type attack on a few occasions. But we're going to take another look at the hit here, and boy, if you're all squeamish, you may want to just turn here, because Ledet, you couldn't see it from that angle, but he had left his feet before the ball was released, and there's just no way to hold up or control yourself once you're in the air like that. And boy, that looked like one of those bad ones, Chris.
Well, we certainly hope he's okay. As you mentioned, he's been one of the premier quarterbacks in this league for a long time, and he comes out. Hope comes in. I was just going to say before the injury, Mike, that Weber State, really great job of clock management, because in this drive they have not used a timeout. So assuming they could score quickly, they'd still have their full complement of timeouts if they didn't recover the onside kick.
When you have a guy like Higgins in there, so experienced and can deliver the ball with such accuracy, you can do that. Now, boy, a little bit tougher challenge when you bring in your backup QB that's only thrown 8 passes on the year.
Here he goes on a first down from the 33, fires this one, almost intercepted. Threw into heavy traffic at the 15. That was intended for Collins. Incomplete pass brings up second down.
Well, he comes in first pass, got to throw it, but he throws this one into traffic. You can see there's 3 Bobcat defenders right there, and boy, lucky to have that back if you're Weber State.
Second down from the 31. 1:22 to go in the fourth. Hoke out of the gun. Looks. Now's got some running room inside the 25. Upended by Alexei Groselak and flips forward to the 20-yard line. And that is going to be very close to a first down.
You can see as we look at Cameron Higgins, he just got great numbers, 23 of 32, pretty good yardage, and boy, 0 touchdowns, but 0 interceptions, that was their problem early. They wanted to go to the running game because they had a rash of interceptions and were turning the ball over so often that they just couldn't do anything offensively. Today, you've got to think that Cameron Higgins did exactly what he was called on to do.
That much short. That's tough, too, because here's what's going to happen. They're going to have to get a first down. And to get the first down, they're probably going to have to burn a timeout. And number 36 to the left is his brother.
Zach Higgins, his younger brother. I think he also has another brother, I believe, is a quarterback at Utah State. So pretty talented family there.
Here's Hoke inside the 10. Man, what a great job by Mike Hoke. He was going to be taken down for a heavy loss.
Well, you can see why they use him as a running quarterback, because when these last 2 plays, as if they've broken down, he just turns it up and gets yards.
Here's Hope, looks for the back of the end zone for Phillips, incomplete, second down. Take a look at this again, Mike, because it looks like he's going to be caught behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
right there.
Boy, nice cut to get out of there, but watch him go. He's got some wheels, and he's a big boy, too. So he was able to pick up more than enough for first down yardage, but I think they're going to have to get the ball in the air for the rest of this.
Second and goal from the 7. Hope looks left, now looks right, hit from behind. And he takes a shot right as he throws the football. Incomplete pass will bring up third down, and I think that was Caleb Schreibeis that put the big hit on him.
Caleb Schreibeis, as well as Preston Gale, they bring the pressure from the ends and just squeeze this thing down from the outside. Forces him to get rid of that ball a little bit early under duress.
You know, I'm not so sure with Hoke and the way he runs it. Might not be smarter to try some sort of a quarterback draw or something.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you didn't have the clock issue, that would be the way to go, because he can definitely run it.
Third and goal from the 7, and he is going to run it, and he's going nowhere. He'll lose 4 on the play.
All right, you're done with your play calling for the day, Chris. That one, I'll tell you what, I think that the MSU defense had the same thing in mind, because watch them bring the backers. Everybody's coming here. And at the end of that, that's just snap, crackle, pop. That's the sound of football.
Owens has brought the lumber today, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've been very impressed with his play today.
Well, this is it right here. 4th and goal from the 11. A touchdown, and Weber State stays alive, barely. Oh, they're going to take the field goal. Okay. So McLean in for the field goal. 29-yard attempt. This one's up and good. So 38 seconds to go in the game. It's a 7-point lead for Montana State. Hadn't thought of that scenario, but really, we talked about before, they have all 3 timeouts.
Yeah, you got all 3 timeouts, and you're going to need to get a touchdown on one of these possessions. So I think it shows some belief in your offense, and I've got to think that they've got a pretty good onside kick approach here that they're confident in. We've seen some pretty dang good ones this year, and I don't think you can top the one we saw at Sac State. That thing was executed beautifully to the point where it really looked like a pass to a wideout. So we'll see what they come up with here. It's definitely going to be something, I would think, a little bit pooched and give yourself a chance to run under it as opposed to the hard drive right up the middle of the front line.
There's the scoring drive for Weber, 15 plays, 69 yards. McLean's field goal makes it a 1-possession game, 17-10 with 38 seconds to go. Weber State, all 3 timeouts remaining, so even if the Bobcats recover, at the very least, Weber State would have a chance for a punt block or run back or maybe a play.
Yeah, they're going to have to, probably get a first down. One would probably do it, but you can see they've got their hands team in up front. You've got some different guys. You've got some receivers up there. You see Cody Kirk out here on the outside is going to be up there, and then they backed up by Lloyd. They've got some tight ends over there, so they've definitely got the people to try and secure the football as opposed to make any type of a run back.
Well, Montana State are doing all kinds of shifting, and they take a timeout. Coach Ash wants to make sure he's got the right personnel in the right formation in the right place.
No, and you can't. There was definitely some confusion on who was supposed to be on which side of the ball that time, and boy, it's just too big of a play at this crucial time to take any chance on. So you want to make sure that you can get all your players in a proper alignment to give yourself the best opportunity.
Got word on Cameron Higgins, the preliminary diagnosis, a sprained MCL.
Oh, well, that
should be great news.
Anytime you can hear the word sprain after a hit like that is great news, and boy, that's really, it's got to kind of almost chokes you up, because you hate to see a guy who's done so much and been so much to his university. I mean, he's holds virtually all, or is on the verge of breaking every school record in passing production. They've had some good ones here. Jamie Martin and a few names that come to mind. So that's excellent news. And he's not going to be on the back on the field today. It's good to know that he will be hopefully next week.
Here come the Wildcats now as they overload to one side. Here's the kick, and this is going to be fielded by Deshaun Thomas, the wide receiver, and no chance at all for Weber to return that one.
That's a great play. I mean, that's a different situation, and very fortunate you get a guy, Deshaun Thomas, who's your punt returner, so he's used to taking those short catches with guys in his face. So there's not a better guy to get in that position, because the rest of those guys, they're feeling the pressure of those guys running downfield. They know they're only 10 yards away to start with.
So the offense trots on, 38 seconds remaining. Well, Weber State will use their timeouts here and try to get the football back one last time. Davis straight up the middle, and Davis is going to score a touchdown. Lorenzo Davis, touchdown Montana State.
Wow. I keep saying wow, but this kid is blowing my mind today. He was untouched, Chris. If we watch the replay, no one laid a hand on him. Credit the offensive line. Look at the crease they make. You see Terrian pulls across the kick-out block, and there is nobody there. All the secondary and the DBs are stacked up on the line of scrimmage, expecting they're just going to get that little run play inside. Davis has been, boy, shown a lot of heart today.
So Cunningham is on to tack on the extra point. It's up and good. So Montana State, with 31 seconds remaining, gets the insurance touchdown, and now they can set their sights on the University of Montana in 2 weeks over in Missoula. 8 wins on the season. Well, more than likely will earn the a trip to the FCS playoffs, regardless of the outcome.
Well, here's another look at watch Terrian pull around and lead up and just seal that lineman there to create just a big gap. You see Jordan Brown, who was stacked on the line of scrimmage, just can't get back inside to help out. And yes, Chris, after that play, really that's the first time, if you're an MSU player or an MSU fan, that you can now turn your sights to 2 weeks from today when you've got the big one against the University of Montana.
Well, in Montana, of course, and Missoula very much in the mix in the FCS as well. They've got a game next week against North Dakota. They'll be heavily favored in that one. So if they hold serve there and win that game, that sets up what should be a great matchup in Missoula in a couple of weeks. And not only do you have the great rivalry that it is, but you also have playoff implication and seeding and all that good stuff.
And who knows what you've got left, but really, if you're MSU, you want to go down there and play for a conference championship and an automatic bid on top of, just the fact that it's the University of Montana, your rival. But boy, depending on what happens, it could be a Montana team that's playing either for the conference title or a piece of it, or maybe for their playoff lives. Maybe it's the end of that 17-year streak that they've had. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out these next 2 weeks.
Well, they, no question, have been the gold standard in the Big Sky Conference for years, and they've had tremendous success. And, of course, not maybe the wins they've had in recent years, of course, under head coach Robin Pflugrad in his first season, but a terrific job after Andrew Sell went down, Justin Roper stepping in and having a great second half of the season. And they're a very, very good football team, as is Eastern Washington and, of course, Montana State.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And then that those two teams that you mentioned are home idle today. They're resting up to get ready for this big finish, and they're going to come out strong the last 2 weeks.
Well, it'll be very interesting to see how the last couple of weeks play out, and I think maybe a big collective sigh of relief here, at least for maybe today. Can the Cats enjoy one today, or do they start chewing on that Grizz game?
Because only because they got the week off.
Yep. So Montana State, with the win, finishes the season perfect at home, 6-0. AJ talked about that. 8-2 on the season, 6-1 in the Big Sky Conference. And, of course, they have the bye week now to heal up a little bit. And believe me, there's enough players on both sides of the football in this game, and I'm sure around the league, that could use a week off right about now.
It's, I think those things always come at a good time because you've always got guys banged up. But you think of players like O'Connell, who's trying to come back and be a part of this after his injury. Play Bignell, as we see Dan Ogden get another sack to add for his totals of the year. What a beast he is, and what a great thing to see. And potentially the last home game for Montana State and these seniors. You don't know how it's going to go as far as getting back here. To see a guy like that cap it off with a sack is perfect.
And I thought what was really telling about this Montana State team today is they were ahead 3-0, gave up the touchdown to Weber State. So the Wildcats had a little momentum. They had taken the lead, but oh, how Montana State responded from there. They quickly regained the lead at 10-7, upped it to 17-7, and ultimately got the 24-10 win. So we'll be back to wrap things up from Bozeman, where Montana State gets win number 8 on the season, 24-10 the final from Bozeman. 24-10, the final score from Bozeman, as Montana State wins and caps off a perfect season here at home. AJ Donatoni down on the field with what I assume is a fairly satisfied Bobcat head coach today.
He is satisfied. Head coach Rob Ash, a 24-10 win to complete the perfect season at home. Coach, you did it with defense today. How gratifying was it to win in that fashion?
Well, AJ, it's been our hallmark for 3 years up until this year, and we had our moments when it wasn't so good earlier in the year, but they're back. They played an awesome game today. I thought we looked fast and we looked really committed, and we were in the right spots. It was just a terrific, terrific performance.
And Coach, now the Big Sky title lies in the hands of going to Missoula, going to Montana. Would you have it any other way?
No, this is exactly what you live for. It's going to be a great couple of weeks. We need a week to get healthy, and then we'll have a good time. It'll be fun. We wanted to get here. We said one game at a time, and there's one big one left.
You'll have some fun, Coach. That was head coach Rob Ash. Chris, back to you.
Thanks, AJ. And before the season started, Rob Ash was asked why he came here from Drake, where he'd spent so many years, and his comment was, he said, I wanted to take a team to the FCS playoffs, and that would have been very difficult at Drake under the circumstances that they play under. And so here he is 4 years later with his team. We think we'll get in with the 8 wins. That's what we've been told by the Big Sky Conference. Their representatives were here today. So congratulations to Montana State and also to Weber State. They played a terrific game. They played like a championship team that they are, and a terrific program down at Ogden with Ron McBride. And today Montana State got the better of it, and boys, just some clutch plays in the second half to win it.
Yeah, really, you got to be proud of the way Montana State's defense stepped up in the fourth quarter. They struggled in the third quarter, really for the first time on the day after doing very well in the first half. To come back from that shows a great deal of character, and I think it will serve them well as they travel to the University of Montana in 2 weeks.
Well, this is our final game for the Max Media crew for the regular season. Who knows? We may be back in a couple of weeks. We shall wait and see. But, partner, it's been another terrific season. Enjoyed so much working with you. It's always fun and a great time, and we have a terrific group of people that make Bobcat Game Day possible, from Rip Cook, our producer, to Nathan Woodard in the truck punching the buttons, and all the camera people that do such a terrific job on Bobcat Game Day. We can't thank you enough. Love working with you. And hopefully we'll see you again down the road. Until then, for Mike Callahan, I'm Chris Byers saying so long from Bozeman.